I don't know what to call you now, Pekko. You are probably the world's fastest pitman. You also been known as the Parrot, according to Chase from being. And now we see you rocking. We see that the poof has made its way from Italy up to Scandinavia with this
Yep.
this this haircut you got. You're starting to look like a blonde Angaro.
Yeah, but at least I'm not blonde,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's blonde hair. Maybe not in
Huh,
Finland,
It's not
blonde hair.
blonde. It's just a light.
To people in the other parts of the world, that's blonde. I mean, Max is like albino.
No, look at it. It's black. It's black. It's just a light.
Well,
No.
we had a request for you to come on this podcast and talk about the Nats. We're going to talk all about the Nats in this podcast. But first, we have to drop that intro, which I don't have geared up yet ready, but here we go.
Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right. And let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Leslie the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to show number 321 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And obviously joining us over to the very far side of this, he's no longer the middleman. He's upgraded, is Max Mort, the one that everybody loves to hate. And of course, we have the new, I shouldn't say new, but the fastest pit in the West. No, the fastest pit in the world. Or at the Nationals, at least. Mr. Pekko.
Yeah, I'd go with the West because it was in the West.
It was in the West. Well, if you're in Europe.
Yeah.
Or as you've now been known as Pekko the Parrot.
Well, whatever. Whatever.
All right. So everybody, welcome back, Pekko, to the podcast. He was at the Nationals. This podcast is all about the Nationals. We're going to talk about that. Then, of course, we have the European Championships coming up next week, which is just as big as the Nationals, and also something I'm uber excited about that. But before I do that, let's just say thank you to everybody out there, the No Name RC podcast followers, the NNRC squad around the world. Without you guys, none of this is possible. We greatly appreciate your support. A big shout out to the patrons of the NNRC, as well as the YouTube members. We greatly appreciate you guys' extra support. If you wish to support the podcast a little extra financially, you could do that. Links for that in the written description of this podcast. Also, a big shout out to these companies that support the podcast. We greatly appreciate them. We have links in the written description for every single one of them. We have some coupon codes. We have some affiliate links showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. A big shout out to J Concepts. You can see their banner right behind me. High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toy, Side Piece Racing, our new hobby. Our new sponsor, Dollar Hobbies. We have a coupon code for that. And of course, we also have Get Shit Done, my good friend, Frank Sell, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. A big shout out to our No Name RC podcast drivers, David Runafog, Robert Badier, Alexander Hagberg, Matty G, Pekko Evening, Una Hutton, and the Iceman, Mason Fuller. All right, so we're not going to be doing a whole bunch of jibber jabber on this podcast. We're going right into the Nationals. I did a live recap with Lance. It was good. I enjoyed the talk with him. It was a nice chat. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Lance, for helping us out with that. Just turning on my AC. But we had somebody request Pekko to come on the podcast and talk about it. And also, we was also requested that we go into a full science mode of the Nitro main, because that's what we really care about is Nitro here, right? So we're going to talk about the Nitro. But yeah, welcome back, Pekko. Welcome back. You've been a busy man, actually.
Yeah, I was super busy, wrenching all day
And traveling.
wrenching all day. Yeah, and traveling. That is.
And you're not done because you got to get ready for next week.
Oh yeah,
This will-
I will leave in a couple days. I need to build my car and
Yeah.
my engine. So
As we're recording this, it's the Thursday before the European Championships. Pekko probably got back, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday from America.
Tuesday, yeah.
Okay. And he's got to get things ready as they head over to Portugal and Barcelos for the 2025 EFRA European Championships, Nitro Buggy Championships. We have Max, who's been very quiet right now. Great write-up, by the way, of the Nationals. You triggered many people with your last sentence in that, by the way.
Yeah, when I said that we'll see if any of the Americans can really put up Nongaro. But I mean, at this point, you really have to say that he's won 3 in a row now. So like, when you go into Worlds, you kind of have to go into it with an assumption that can anyone beat him? Period.
And I will say they were doing like too many mistakes.
We'll get into all of that. We'll get into all of that. We'll get you guys triggering everybody else very shortly. Don't worry. Speaking of Ongaro, I was just talking to him. He says he's going to come on the podcast after the Euros.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
With all of the things we've done, we've given him a lot of flack.
Yeah, but we're also. I think we've been fair. I told him so. He messaged me and said thank you for. He says he enjoyed. Thank you for that video that he made. Right, that we made about the crash at the Ebuggy Euros, because everybody was saying he did it on purpose, but I don't think he did. And I told him I saw what you saw, but it wasn't there. And I said, but listen, the next video, don't be mad, right? Because we kind of talk about you in that one. And I still feel that way. And he was the, well, not him, but the top 25 RC rankings was the what's the word I'm looking for? It was triggering people this week, as it usually does, because he's been pipped off the top spot and replaced by Dakota Phend. So all the Europeans were pissed off, and all the Americans and the people that run AE, all the Europeans and the AE drivers were kind of like, what the fuck? And then all the Americans are like, about time. And I just sat back there with the popcorn and enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. That list always triggers people. Alrighty then. Let's have a quick catch up. But before we do that, I want to pay some bills. A big shout out to J Concept for all their support. Alrighty. So like I said, we have Pekko in her because he was there at the race. Somebody asked to have him on her as well. He was doing a great job pitting for Cavalieri. And yeah, and then Max and I kind of watched it online. I didn't watch it the whole week because I was doing things, but definitely tuned in for the last Nitro. I watched a lot of the Ebuggy stuff. I have to say a big congratulations to Dakota Phend and Brandon Rose for the national titles. Well earned. I watched a few of the interviews that Brent did from Reel and Trigger. Go check them out as well. He did some great interviews with Brandon Rose. Dakota Phend was in there. Pekko was on there. Clayton Young, the Raw president. It was some good stuff. So go check that out. Give them a like, sub, and hit that notification button for them. And yeah, let's see. Max, you watched it. Pekko, you was there. So it's a different thing. We got to see things that you didn't see because you was just going through some of the footage and you're like, I didn't realize that Seth and Dylan and Maifield got together. And Pekko is all about pit time. So we're going to probably geek out on pit times and pit strategy and all this type of stuff. And we are not going to go into deep. We're not going to go into any details for Ebuggy and Truggy, everybody, because we all know that Nitro is the glory here. It's not saying I'm an Truggyist by heart, and it's not taking away. I'm now a professional Truggyist, and nothing taken away from Brandon Rose's excellent win. But that was one badass fucking Nitro main, and it was just fucking awesome. Like it was good. It was probably one of the better races I'm seen in a long time. I thought it was gonna be a runaway, but then that's what we love about Nitro, right? Mistakes, flameouts, all this type of stuff. Let's get ready to talk about it. But we are going to talk about some of the results here real quick. Max, maybe before we do that, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to. You've been uber busy.
Yeah, same old. School, work. Went to the first round of Finnish nationals. Didn't go very well. Pekko won, but I got close for half a qualifier.
Half a qualifier. You really?
Yeah.
You know what happened?
Q3.
Oh, it
What
was
happened?
funny. I heard the announcer said that he's like 1.5 seconds behind of me or something. I was like, I need to do some heaters down. And then at the end it was like 6 seconds or something. I remember.
Yeah. It picked up. It was 6 seconds. But I made a mistake, so it would have been like 3. So
You know
I
what?
had a really good qualifier.
We're going to have an intervention for you here, Max. I think your time of being a good driver, you're still a good driver. I think your time of dominating the Finnish nationals is over. It's time to start mentoring a young kid. At 24, your career is done.
yeah, well, I stopped racing Ebuggy this year. So I have more time. I race just Nitro. So I have more time. So we have like so many, because the Mayako EU shop moved to Finland. So like people have parts close by, and Pekko is like working for Mayako now. So we have like a bunch of guys running for Mayako, some young guns too. So Pekko and me, we'd be both giving them some help, trying to make them faster. So we are doing that. I think both of us, to be honest. But
Yeah,
For sure.
that's good. That's good. All right. So I guess we should just get right into this. But before we do that, we do have some quick news topics. We're not going into nothing deep, but these are some products that were noticed at the Nationals, and that's brought to you by High Tech RC. Looking for top tier performance and reliability in your RC setup? High Tech RCD has you covered with industry leading chargers, servers for both surface and air applications. Whether you're racing or taking to the skies, High Tech's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high torque servers to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust in High Tech to keep you in control. High Tech, powering passion, evaluating performance. Visit hightechrcd.com today. Let them know the No Name RC podcast sent you. All right. So 2 new things. I mean, I'm sure there were other things that were new. I heard Techno was trying out some new towers and all this type of stuff and springs and whatnot. But 2 things that Pekko noticed was hot race with a new compound or using the same compound that they have in 10 scale. And of course, the other thing was the laid on version of the Nitro Buggy from the Mayako Ebuggy. So we're going to hand it over to you, Pekko. Maybe tell us about those 2 products, please.
Yeah, I think watching the hot race guys running that weekend, I think they look pretty solid out there. So I think for sure they did good things with the compound for the tires, and I think they were not running the new tread what they came up with. I think it was Napoli or something like that. They ran just normal Sahara. So I think, I don't know if they even tried the new tread, but for sure the compound was good. And for our car, I built the laydown car for our nationals to test it, that if it's working as well as the Ebuggy. It turned out it was working better than the Ebuggy, so it was actually really good. So I was trusting it and let Cav run the car at the nationals, and I think he did pretty good.
I guess one of my questions, do you have a picture of the car at all? Do you have the car there? I know it's broken. But are there different challenges in getting the laid on to work with the Nitro compared to the electric car?
No, it was like we had almost the same setup in both.
Okay.
Just like took the shocks and same diffs from the Ebuggy, so didn't have to work that much.
Cool. Max,
Yep.
any questions for Pekko? I back to hot race. Sorry, I'm going to ask this. So, do you know what is the compound like? For is it like what they're using with their slick tires for clay tires for clay
I
tracks and all
think
that stuff?
it's the same what they used in slick 10 scale tires.
Okay, Max, any questions for Pekko before we move on?
No, I was just thinking I should bring up the. I mean, it looks like the Ebuggy, the Mayako car with the laydown. Let's put it full screen. Oh,
Okay.
let me. Oh, I forgot
Here we
to
go.
bring it up. Okay, you'll bring it up. So yeah, basically it looks just like the Ebuggy. I think the most interesting part Pekko has done, which I think is way overkill. Like he has
Yeah, it was a
this
bit
whole
way
heat
overkill, I would say.
heat protection
I think
behind
like
the motor.
Lexan and with alloy like tape, it will be already enough.
Yeah, because he had
Reduce the
like
heat.
Lexan
Shock.
and carbon fiber plate, and then he covered with aluminum tape.
Yeah.
So to keep the heat in, because obviously the shock is really close to the.
Or I mean, the
engine.
heat can go out from the bottom, but
Hold on. What am I looking at here? I'm confused. I don't see anything.
you're just looking at the car.
Yeah. What are we talking about though?
Because Pekko made this whole. Because we are worried. The reason why it's done on Ebuggy and not a Nitro Buggy is we are worried that the rear shock will heat up because it's so close to the engine.
Oh,
Yeah.
So Pekko wanted to make a protective thing under the body shell, so the heat wouldn't transfer to the shock. Did you measure the heat of the shock?
I know.
No.
It didn't
Okay,
change,
but
so
yeah, it didn't feel different. But anyway,
No.
so he had his whole like aluminum tape, Lexan, carbon fiber protector here behind the engine and in front of the shock. And as long as that keeps the heat outside, that's fine. You can run it on nitro as well.
Yep.
So for clarification, that's because the shock's so laid down. It's obviously more
Yeah,
heat
and it's
radiating.
in front of the tower.
Mm.
Yeah. Because on
And it's
Ebuggy, you don't
oh,
have.
okay. Yes.
Yeah,
And
on
obviously
Ebuggy, you don't have that issue.
yeah, obviously the heat from the manifold is immense, and that's what you're worried about, right? Look at Pekka, all smiling.
Oh, happy. I was happy that the race ended, so I didn't have the wrench. No, and I got to run a couple laps. It was nice.
Oh
I
yeah,
ran with Nate's car. Yeah, it was nice. I
Nate
liked it.
Sutherland did pretty well. He qualified for the
Yeah, he
world.
did. Yeah, he did really well. He made the semis.
Big shout out to Alex Richards, who kind of was
Yeah.
doing everything,
he helped
mentoring
him
him
a
and
lot.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we move on to the actual race recap?
I don't know.
I don't think there was anything sort of to warn you guys about.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. We'll talk about the top 25 in the end.
All right, we'll do that.
I think we have some opinions about it.
We do. I have some opinions.
Yeah.
All right. We'd like to say a big shout out to Side Piece Racing for all the help. Elevate your RC experience with SidePieceRacing.com, North America's exclusive distributor of top tier brands like Automatics, Rocher, Wild Turbofan, Montec Racing, Corsa Phoenix Racing, and Will Speed. Whether you're seeking precision engineered car kits, high performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, we've got you covered. Enjoy fast shipping and exceptional customer service, ensuring that the best gear you get the best gear when you need it. Visit sidepieceRacing.com today. Let them know that the No Name RC podcast sent you. Also, a big shout out to our friends over there in Sweden, Latera Racing. Shout out to Kim and Martin and everybody else there, and Klaus. Step up your RC racing with Latera Racing, one of Sweden's premier hobby shops and tracks dedicated to races, featuring top brands like X-Ray, Hobby Wing, Zoo Racing, Team Coyote. They provide everything you need from precision chassis to high-performance electronics. Whether you're at the track upgrading your setup, Latera Racing caters to racers who demand the best. Visit latera.se or stop by their shop and track for the ultimate RC experience. Latera Racing, built for winners. All right. So obviously everybody was excited about the 1/8 scale off-road nationals that happened June 17th to the 22nd, held at Thornhill, Hutto, Texas, probably one of the best facilities in the world. You know what, Pekko? This isn't on the notes, but what was your impressions of Thornhill and the facility?
I think the place was super nice. Like the track was maybe a bit small, 10 scale stylish, but otherwise the place was super good. They didn't have any good toilets though.
I heard that.
But like the AC pits were super good. There was like many spots to get like, and it wasn't like too expensive to pit in. So it was nice ad. And yeah, there was also a hobby shop that was super good. Yeah, it was like overall it was quite good.
Okay.
I would say.
What would you say is the main difference between that place? I've never been to that place. I've been to almost, well, East Coast, West Coast, any other, but I've never been to Texas. So how was that compared to, let's say, Thunder Alley or Paris, or
Or like
then Europe like Redovan or IBC?
or like Texas in like
No, the
thing or
facility, the
the
facility.
facility. Uh, the facility. What I would say, it's not as nice as Redovan, I would say. Redovan or something else we have in Europe. In Europe, actually, we have quite good facilities, but like it's on a good level on a US facilities, I would say.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's not
quite
like
basic
you're in the
level.
middle of a field,
I mean,
like
okay,
generator.
it's like a, it's almost like a middle of the field. 'Cause
Yeah, it's on a farm, isn't it?
horses and corn and everything, but it's
Oh, okay.
Texas, so
You could have been in the middle of oil fields. It could have been worse.
oh, yeah.
Tell us about that awesome food you ate, Max.
Yeah,
Maybe
Max,
wanna-
cover your ears now. I had an amazing Texas barbecue. It was good. It was worth to go there.
I am looking forward to going to Thornhill. The one thing that Thornhill has that there's other facilities that you mentioned is they have a roof, and that makes
Oh
it.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
That's what makes it good. I would say it's probably the best. Obviously, there's not many covered facilities in the USA, but it seems like it's a very nice facility. I am looking forward to getting there next year and to the Worlds and seeing it for myself. But yeah, I think when you don't have many facilities like obviously we've been to a couple of, I've been to Redovan, I've been to Barcelos, and those are all excellent facilities, right? It's a common thing in Europe to have facilities similar to that, not with a roof, but you
Not
know
with
what
a
I mean, an
roof,
actual
but, like,
facility.
yeah, facilities are quite good in Europe. I would say
Yeah.
like on a basic level, they are better than most of in US.
Of course, I believe so too. You know that A mains track, LCRC are some of the other ones that come to mind. Old Southside when it was open. But all good. So some of our pre-race talking points was going into this was the first time that we've had the combined E-Nationals and Raw Nationals. It was a new race program with 3 days for other classes and 3 days for Nitro Buggy. A lot of people really liked having it 3 days for Nitro Buggy. I heard Tim Lime on the Will and Trigger says, finally Nitro gets the glory it deserves and gets its whole weekend
That
of
was
RC.
actually good. That was good.
Yeah. But it was, when you listen to the pros,
3 classes for
Yeah,
3 days.
that
is
was
too
like
much.
that was too much. Thank God Cav didn't run Truggy. I would have flipped. Like
Did he run the?
I
did he
didn't
run
even
the-
wrench on the techno. Like
He ran a
the
techno.
Truggy. Yeah, he ran
Yeah.
the techno. So I didn't wrench on that. He was wrenching on that, but I had so much to do in Ebuggy. But I still had to pit for the Nitro track. So it took out some time. So it was like those days where they were hurry. And it was like from 8 in the morning until 8 in the night. So it was, or I think it was until 9 or something. We were super late there.
well,
Yeah.
I applaud Raw for doing this because I think it's the right thing to do because the ENATS doesn't get the entries that it does. But I think the ladder mains throws everybody for a loop. The IFMAR style mains throws everybody for a loop. And that was the general consensus. It was too much crammed into that 3 days. It made it uncomfortable. So I think listening to Roar and what obviously Brent is on Roar, they're gonna make some. I talked to Lance. They're gonna make some tweaks for next year, which is fine.
I think this idea was super good because we got to run like some like use E-Track, E-Buggy, Nitro Track before the Nitro Buggy. So basically we already knew what to do for the Nitro Buggy. So it was a lot easier to go into that race.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. The other thing that kind of makes this special is that this is the host track for the Worlds in 2026. And it's obviously it's big because you see everybody go into there with the dreams of qualifying for the Worlds, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we still haven't confirmed how many spots the USA has. I know that semis, if the top 30 are going there, but
Those
there's
were
some
for sure.
yeah, that's what we're talking about. There might be 40, there might be 50, but being as it's the host nation, and also let's be honest, USA is as a nation is probably the biggest market for RC.
Yeah.
They got a lot more spots. We saw it in Spain last year, where the Spanish got a bunch of spots, and I think there's going to be a fucking waiting list to get to this race.
Yeah, I
So-
think there will be this like race before the Worlds that you can get into the race. I think so.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, they did that in Vegas. So they
Yeah,
had
yeah,
spots. They had like
They
15
have a
spots or
pre-race.
something. Yeah. So and then people went to that pre-race
Yeah.
and raced it.
There was one Finnish
really-
guy made that race.
Yeah, Jonas, right?
Yeah, Jonas.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
it's
just
crazy.
imagining what if he doesn't make it and he just went to
Yeah, you go all the way to
Who else?
Vegas and you don't make the. I mean, you're still in Vegas, but what
Yeah,
if you're in
in the middle
I
of
don't
the
know, Texas?
cornfields.
Yeah, and you don't make
Barbecue
the
every
race.
day if you're not vegan.
But I think like people like Sanketin and Barufalo, they were there in Vegas, at least one of them, because in the pre-race there was one like really fast Italian who made the
Yeah.
pre-race.
Could be.
I think it was Zancatin,
Yeah,
because that's when I kind of first learned about him. I was wondering if they were going to do that.
He made the world's A main in 2014. I don't think Sanketin would have been a pre-race. I think it was Barufalo.
Could have been. Could have been. I can't remember. I think that I love it. Right, I love it when there's a Worlds in the USA, because that's when the Americans in general are really into it, right? And the fans are really into it, and that's another debate because
it's actually a world championship in America, not like all the other world.
Well, it's a world championship. It's also going to be the fourth. So a lot of people don't know this. It's only the fourth time that it's been held in the USA. So next year,
Cool.
so it's good. It's good. Some of the storylines also was Fuller coming in after his full sweep at Silver State. I had big expectations. Unfortunately, he didn't live up to them. Phend's obviously with the new X-ray, a lot of pressure on him as well. And Brandon Rose being in his home track as well, kind of to an extent. His home track is Mike's, but he gets down there quite often. But I also want to add to this is Techno, because this is the type of track you heard Bourdon and other guys talk about it. Their car is really good for Nitro car is really good for the low grip tracks, but struggle a little bit on his high grip tracks. So Techno with Maifield, and they figured out something because Maifield was fast.
I think they still struggled. Like,
Well, they have to fix some things, Pekko.
If we are being true, I think he was struggling. I mean, Phend was faster, but he just made mistakes.
Was Mayfield mad like he was at the Worlds?
I'm not sure. Not really.
I don't think so either. Because I talked to Rona, and he was like, after the Truggy race, and he said, yeah, like Mayfield realizes where he made mistakes, right? Now, I will say this.
Truggy Mayfield was faster, to be
Yes.
honest.
Oh, they have a
I
great.
think Truggy he was faster.
Well, I would say that he also threw away the Nitro Man with that triple. And he
Yeah, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. We'll get into
Phend was fast, dude. Phend was fast.
Yeah, he was fast.
All right. I'm gonna bring up a picture of the track real quick that Max has here. And Pekko, maybe tell us some of your favorite features of this track.
Yeah, if you got how much did you get time to run on this? Did you get close to Cav's lap time?
I did I think I did. They did some 36 laps or something like that. 30. I think Phend's best lap was 36. 36-1 or 0 or something like that. And I think I did 37-5 or something like that. In a 6, I ran like 6 minutes or something with Nate's car.
Right,
and
so
it had alt tires. So
what was your favorite part of this track, Pekko?
Let's think. I think generally this track was super good because it was like quite challenging. I think the back double going to the downslope, that was the hardest. No, not
this
that.
side right
that
here.
one. Yeah, that one. That one. Going to the downslope.
Let's see if I could zoom in on that.
Yeah, zoom in a bit.
And then I like the feature going up on the left side next to the pole. that was hard spot, but if you do it right, you can gain much bunch of time. Also, the right double. If you go wide in the last one, you can shoot the corner quite nicely. So also that part was quite cool, and also the from the step up, step off was super nice, and also the triple was super cool because it was quite hard to make over if you do something weird in the corner. So I think generally the track was super good and the layout was nice and the jumps were super nice also. So I don't really have any bad to say about the track, because obviously it wasn't easy track because all the guys were doing mistakes.
Mhm.
How was the triple? Because it looked like people were just about getting over it. Did you have to go wide to
there
get
was
it?
like you didn't have to go like super wide, but if you go bit wider, you will make it easier, I would say.
Yeah.
And also the driving line was super narrow, so that made it
Yeah.
harder. And obviously, when you were driving with both tires, it was when you go offline, you lose already like 2 seconds or something.
That triple course fits for Mayfield, but you know it also kind of lost his way into the finals. FCJ, he messed up quite a few times on this triple, and that cost him his. He drove very well. Don't get me wrong, he was very fast.
Yeah, he did very good actually. He did very good.
Yeah,
Just
and he had a broken ankle.
he had yeah. But yeah, he had a couple mistakes too much, and I think flame out or something.
In
That's
the
why he
last
didn't
round,
make
he
the main.
blamed out.
That's why he didn't make the main.
But he was definitely fast.
Yeah, he was.
You know what, Max? When I was looking at this track, I know it's a little bit bigger, but it reminds me of like Nitro Buggy almost.
Well, you know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say, was this at the Mike's, the 2013 Raw Nats where Drake won?
That's Mike's, yes.
Yeah. So it kind of reminds me of that because, last time they had the nationals here indoors at Thornhill, they had that like concrete segment. Like the section was concrete, so it was like slippery.
Oh yeah, they had.
You forgot about
They didn't
that.
have it now.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't have it now, but they had that in last time out. And that layout, it was much more like flowing and
Yeah, I
fast
remember.
and smooth. Yeah, but this one is a lot more
10 scale stuff.
technical. Yeah, exactly, more 10 scale. Just like kind of like it's not just like, but it reminds me of that layout they had at Mike's in 2013 with the end of the straightaway, like off cambered and all that. So very technical. I think this is one of those layouts where if you would just drive around the track, it's not that difficult. Like,
Yeah.
but when you push and you try to make all the jumps and be fast around the corners, you're gonna case one of the jumps or over jump it or go a bit offline, and then you're on the dust, and that's gonna really mess you up. And I mean, if you look at Phend, that's all his mistakes were, just going wide or touching the pipe or something, trying to open up a corner.
Exactly.
So I listened to Phend talk about that, and they were saying that the driving line was so incredibly small. He said if you went an inch or two off that, it actually pushed you out 3 feet.
Yeah, it did.
And they were running on both tires too, right? So it was. I mean, when I told you when I watched Cav semi, it looked like his car looked like a dump, pushing like a dump truck. But you was telling me that it just the track developed on the Sunday differently. The track got how I thought it would get. It got polished, it got slippery, it got drifty. And that's what people actually started wearing on tires due to wheel spin on Sunday, from what I can tell. Yes, it was high traction and heat, but people were going through tires a lot more when it was from what I could tell, maybe I'm wrong, it was way more high traction on the electric days. Am I right?
I wouldn't agree. I think the traction came up similar every time. It's just the line was all the time. The line was super narrow. I mean, in electric, they had tread still in the tire, so it didn't look that bad, obviously, because you only run 10-minute mains. But the traction was always there. Like it was high for the nitro and everything. I think it didn't like change that much. But during the day, it always changed it. Like for every run, it was different. because I think they watered the track every evening. So in the morning it was super dusty, so it didn't have any groove or something, nothing like that.
Well, was it because when you go to European tracks, I'm sure they're glued, so that helps with the grip.
Yeah,
But this wasn't. This was just water and dirt, so that's why you have those
I think-
big dust particles.
yeah. I'm not sure did they use something on the track for
Mm-mm.
sure, because they didn't use anything.
No
I think
ceiling.
so. They had
Nothing.
to.
No.
They had
This
to.
is how the track is, dude. Trust me.
Indoors, you can make it. It's kind of like Hoodie Arena, you know.
Yeah.
You
But
just
we are in super loose without anything.
yeah, but
Every
that's why
time
when
when
you
the
have it on the
groove
rope.
game, every time when the dust came off from the track, it was high grip already. So in my opinion, it shows that there is something on the track. But the dust was actually
Oh,
quite good.
hold on. So Sunday they put something. Plan said this. They put a product called Stay Wet on it for Sunday. That's what it was. It's a additive that you put on the soil for the soil to hold moisture. It's what they use on dusty roads and all that stuff. So that's what they did. I think.
Not for that.
Yeah,
only for the last day, for sure not.
That's I am. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I know they put it on there. I don't know if it was for the last day or not.
I think they did it the same every day. It just
Okay.
it was the first rounds were dusty always.
I could have sworn I heard
first
Lance say
hits.
different, but
I don't know.
somebody would chime in the comments.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that I thought the track was challenging. It made for some good racing, I think, for the top guys. And I want a big shout out to Ethan Lefebvre because he did a great job. He built it, and I hope they build something even more challenging for the Worlds in 2026. All right, let's get on to some of these qualifiers. Let's go take a look at Truggy, Ebuggy, and all that stuff. But before we do that, we got to say thank you to Pekko's boss.
Stop scrolling, you wannabe Lewis Hamilton. Learn something new with invisible speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you slam on the throttle and the brake? No. You probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Stop scrolling. Why don't JQ make a new ad? Because this is from 2022 Euros.
Yeah.
Or Worlds. Well, Worlds, sorry. All righty. Truggy. Obviously, Rose takes the win. Why are you guys just smiling at me?
I think that's why do you have to change it if it's perfect, you know?
Exactly.
Well, no, it's got the deal on it.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, so it's got a deal from
You just cut
back
that
when
off.
he did it. That's why.
You put
can do a new one.
we should edit the video so when the deal comes on, we just have a huge beaker face there, and then the music plays in the background.
You mean like this?
People who watch this on audio are gonna think what the fuck just happened?
For sure.
All right. Let's get back on track, boys. Big shout out to Brandon Rose. He took the win in A2. Truggy. I don't care what anybody says. I like Brandon Rose. I think this is a boost of confidence that he needed. I picked Rose to win Nitro Buggy. But he did it. And it was and qualifying ended up being Maifield, Rose, and Phend, and then it ended up, like I said, being Rose. Let's see, it was Rose, Maifield, Phend. So they just kind of reversed orders, pretty much.
Yeah, basically Mayfield crashed in each of the mains in the beginning, and then Rose got by and Phend got by and so on.
And we had some congratulations to Brandon Rose, by the way. We had in Nitro, we had some good qualifying battles. It was Wilson, Phend, and Lime. Wilson took 2 rounds. Phend took 2 rounds. Dude, I thought Wilson was impressive this weekend. He had problems, but he was very impressive.
He did very well.
Yeah, but can we talk about the Wilson TQ? Because obviously he I don't know what happened in the main. They changed his tire after a big crash in the beginning. He got shafted a bunch of times. Then someone jumped straight into his car, and then he crashed, and then someone jumped onto his car again. And then they changed the tire in the main, but he TQ'd Aurora National. Okay, sure, it's the really busy 3 class in 3 days thing, but this is and remember when Ogden got kicked out from Sparko? The biggest fight they had with the team was that he called the Truggy a piece of shit and didn't want to run it.
Yeah.
And now Wilson goes and TQs the Roar Nats with the Truggy.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
In my opinion, the Truggy actually looks quite good, like compared to others. I think like also Lee Setzer's car looked good. Like, and he was doing, I think, well. He did the main also in Truggy.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I think
pretty sure
I think the biggest difference in the truck is that the Truggy is super short. Actually, it's like way shorter than the others.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
What would you make a short Truggy?
I don't know, but the car pivots like hell.
Okay.
No, Lee Setzer did not make the main.
Yeah.
He did not. Oh, I thought. At least he had some good runs.
I think besides the DNFs that Wilson had, I think he had a good nationals, and he's actually
he finished 7th. He finished 7th in Truggy still, but they changed the tire on the first pit stop, and it was a really messy first like 10 minutes of the main for everyone.
The funny thing for Nitro Truck was that only 5 guys in the main had like no issues. 10 guys in the grid had some issues.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That's crazy.
It was an epic final too between Maifield and Phend.
Yeah,
and go ahead, you had a rant about that, Pekko.
Oh, about live RC.
Yeah,
I didn't know this first. I didn't know this first because I was there watching the race. Then I showed the final to JQ and I saw what they did or what happened. It wasn't nice to watch it because I think they changed the camera or something, so you really didn't see the fight they had. Because I also saw that I think Phend hit Maifield a bit in the corner, so I wanted to see that, but I didn't see it because you cannot see it in the video. So that sucks. Because I think Phend hit him like side to side or maybe into the rear. I'm not sure. I really didn't see it that bad.
They got together like multiple times on the last.
They did.
Yeah. So just to like recap the race, Phend should have won this fair and square, but he's Phend, so he's gonna fend himself.
Yeah.
Maifield got into the lead, and then something weird happened. Maifield fended himself. Because Maifield,
I think
like Phend crashed like 2-3 laps to go, and there was like a 4-second gap.
Yeah.
Maifield had it in the bag.
And you know what? I think it is. The car wasn't that good.
The Truggy?
If the car would have been good, he would have handled that situation for sure.
Yeah. Because even on the last lap, when they went like Phend was close going into the last lap, but he made a mistake at the beginning of the lap.
Yeah,
then Maifield goes into the marbles, loses like 3 seconds in one corner, just spinning around the track. And then after that, they go into that, step on, step off. And when they land, they touch.
I think Maifield cased it, the second jump. I think, if I remember correctly, he cased the second jump, and then that's why he made a mistake.
Yeah, because they touched before the triple, and then in the triple, they touched again.
Yeah.
And then Maifield jumped into the pole, and that was it then. Then Phend just went to the... That was so, like, the cameraman was fucking up, but at least he catch when Maifield jumped to the pole. It was just the still camera, and Mayfield's Truggy comes and just lands on the pole.
Actually, Phend did the same. He hit the pole in Nitro Buggy.
Yeah, but that was not on the last lap, luckily for him.
Yeah.
That pole also cost Tater Sontag's race on lap 1. All right. Some other notable performance we have here. Joey Bourdon, very good 5th in Truggy. We forgot to talk about that. Tebow out of retirement. Wow. Semi-retirement, making mains, done good. And I think the biggest, so Fuller did not run Truggy, but Fuller in 8th, not really a factor. And unfortunately, he wasn't a factor the entire weekend. We found Fuller's kryptonite.
Yeah. One name I do want to mention is Wiggins. Because in the beginning, it was like there was 5 drivers fighting for second. Because Phend was leading in the beginning. He was way ahead in the lead. And there was 5 guys fighting for second. And then there was a 6th guy who was not fighting, but he always was second, which was Wiggins. Because people was behind him, they got by, then they crashed. Like Rose got into second 3-4 times and then crashed. Lime got into second, crashed. Wilson, same thing. All of these guys, and then Wiggins was just I'm just fucking trying to do my race, and he's just always in second. But then Maifield got into the picture, and then he took off, luckily, which left Wiggins in 3rd. But he actually ran a solid race, like Jared. Wiggins, I'm talking about, not Tebow. Well, I mean, Tebow wasn't bad, but
The wizard. Wiggins has been, Wiggins lived in Texas for a long time.
he did.
And I'm sure he went to this track quite a lot. And you know him, I think there ain't nobody out there burning more fuel than Wiggins right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but if we, because we're gonna talk about Nitro Buggy, and I'm gonna say the same thing about Maifield, but especially this race, Maifield should have won it. He gave it away. It wasn't Phend took it for him. No, Maifield, he had a 3-second lead going into the last lap. What the fuck? Maifield doesn't lose in that situation.
In my opinion, that shows that the car wasn't working that well.
Yeah.
we
Maybe
also
he
know
got
that
nervous.
JQ's boy and anti-techno. So
No, that's just for real. If you think Maifield,
Well, I mean,
it's imagine how much he has done races, and if he has a good car, he won't do that mistake. Really,
I mean,
that's
he's
just a
right.
fact. That's a fact.
But then again, it's a techno Truggy. Can it be that bad?
Actually,
I
oh shit, here we go.
From Silverstone, I can say it wasn't that good.
it wasn't good.
Really,
No, but I think
you're
don't
a
know
horse
what it
with
was.
blinders on though, Pekko. I think your opinion's
No.
biased.
No, they're not. They're not. I'm just
I-
for real. At
Yeah.
DNC, it was really good. I can say that.
Mhm.
At DNC, it was really good.
Yeah.
But you can see the facts from Silverstone. I mean, how many technos there were on top?
Oh, everybody has an off day. They had an off weekend.
No, it's not off day if you have 10 people running the car and everybody is down from the 6th or something. It's not an off day.
Mason
Yeah.
Fuller kicked everybody's ass. In fact, one of my S-Works buddies goes, "What about those? You said the techno trucks are the best, Lefty. What about those S-Works trucks?" Shout out to Chris
what
Harris.
about-
those
what
cars
about-
work better on these kind of conditions. S-Works, AE, Sparkle.
Not
Right.
for Mason, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But Camden Lime was the fastest S-Works.
Yeah, he was fast
He was
also.
very good.
Yeah.
Very good this weekend.
But
that
he
weekend.
had some. I don't know what happened to him because he was right up there. I think he got
he
destroyed by
crashed
the
with-
pole.
I think he crashed with who was it? I don't remember. But he had some crash and lost his mind, basically.
Oh,
Okay,
Couple
That
of
happens.
crashes.
that happens.
the usual.
All right, let's get into.
yeah.
Oh, did you have anything to say, Max? Before we go into Ebuggy?
No, I want to say that we have spent way too much time on Truggy.
Yes.
What the hell?
Well.
Now we have at least now we can go into the real thing, which is buggy classes.
Well, you know what? You know who would be happy about our Truggy talk? The Truggener, Charlie Mack.
Truggy.
There you go. Dedicated to Charlie Mack. That there. You know what? Before we do that, let's pay some bills. Let's do that. Speaking of Techno, thank you, Techno, for all your support.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance A-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
All right. Thank you, Techno, for all the support. They sent me a care package. I'm very interested to see what they sent me. Let's move on to Ebuggy. And being as there's an Ebuggy Worlds coming up here very shortly, it's an important class now, Max. No matter how much you try to discredit it.
we did a whole episode on the Ebuggy Euros. So we're gonna give this at least a good 10 minutes for war.
In Max's time, that's 25.
Hey, you gotta take what you can.
All right. So qualifiers, Phend, Rose, Lemieux. So we're looking at Rose. We're like, okay, he wins Truggy. He's looking to be good in Ebuggy. And then, of course, we have Lemieux, who's coming up who hasn't been racing 8 scale much, but he's a 10 scale guy. And this is the start of him impressing me, right? Not saying that he isn't impressive, but he's third, right? And Rose starts strong with a TQ, but then it's like Phend after that. And we're like, okay, Fend's locked and loaded. He's going to take this. And Lemieux was consistent and fast over all 4 rounds, which ended up with him getting a third.
Yeah. I think that was the most impressive about Lemieux. Because in qualifying, yes, Rose got the TQ in round 1, but he couldn't. His second best round was the third behind Lemieux, whereas Lemieux was in the top 5 every single round. Sure, Wiggins was close by and Bourdon and even Sontag, but like Lemieux was within a second or two, let's say 5 seconds, of Phend every single round, which is impressive, like really impressive, I think. Especially with they run the same car and all that stuff. Sort of names that again, Fuller, he should be higher up. He was 10th after qualifying. Maifield, 8th. I mean, the main showed that he had more speed. I think if Maifield started like 5th, where Bourdon started, he would have finished higher up. He would have finished like at least 2nd, but I think he could have challenged Phend more if he was up there. Because starting from 8th, there's no way you're winning over people like Phend. Especially 7-minute mains, by the way. We'll talk about that in a bit.
And no bump ups.
We go, yeah. I have that in my notes after everything, but either way, yeah. What else really? Nothing really other than that. This was the only class I think Horn made the main. I could be wrong.
No, he made the Nitro final.
He made Nitro? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. From qualifying, I think Maifield struggled, Fuller struggled, but Fuller's kind of like he's going to struggle in every segment of the show because he had a really bad Nats. Wiggins and Bourdon, I think those two were the most consistently up there on the 3 first days at least. Nitro Buggy, Bourdon was not there really, but Wiggins was. Yeah, I think going into the mains, Dakota looks the strongest by far, but Rose is coming off Truggy, good performance in Truggy, so I'm expecting him to like win this as well going into the mains.
But it wasn't him. It was actually Phend, Lemieux, and Maifield. Maybe Pekko, any words on qualifying before we move on to the finals?
Not really. I think like this track being like 10 scale stylish favored like guys like Sontag and Lemieux for sure. That was also Phend because the track was like 10 scale style. So I think that made the thing for these guys to go fast on the track.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think that's a good point.
And I think also the tires.
It's like kind of like AMS.
Yeah, kind of. But I think it was more like there was more technical stuff than in AMS. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, last few years AMS hasn't been
actually
as technical as it used to be.
The AMS I went to, that was boring. The track was like 180 jump, 180 jump, 180 jump. Nothing. I think the last year's was better. I wasn't there. Hopefully this year will be good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Max.
Yeah, no, I was already going into the mains because, well, I mean, shocker, Phend dominates both A1 and A2. I think he had some issue in A1, but I mean, it was easy pickings for him pretty much. Rose DNFs A1. In A2, he's really. I think Rose would have gotten a second in A2, but Sontag took him out. And I was like, the cars were going in the start of the straight, and I was like, this looks like Sontag might take Rose out at the start of the straight. And at the end of the straight, I'm like, no, he wouldn't. And then, obviously Sontag took Rose out. And even better, he waited after he took Rose out and he was on his roof. He waited in the center of the line. I don't know if you saw this, Pekko, but like Sontag was like at the end of the straight, like at the center of the corner, just there, like holding his car stationary.
I didn't see.
Yeah, but then there was a flow of cars coming from behind, and it was a whole disaster. But yeah, Phend dominates. Lemieux kind of. I think in A1 he did well, but I think in A2, yes, he was fast. Yes, he did less mistakes, but I think Rose most likely would have finished higher than him if it wasn't for Sontag and all that drama that happened in front. And then kind of Maifield benefited from all of that. So he came through the field every single time, and Lemieux he was what's left of the carnage. So he finished second in both A1 and A2, and then ended up winning A3 too.
You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing the X-Ray team coming in like they're kind of coming. No, okay, so it's Lemieux, Phend, Schimmel, Sontag. That we'll put Sontag out of there, but those three are kicking butt in 10 scale. And now you look, Lemieux is starting to get up there. Sontag had a good Nats, in my opinion. If he wouldn't have broke on the first lap, probably things would have been different in Nitro Buggy. So we're starting to see like X-Ray starting to kind of do what they've been doing all year in 10 scale, starting to filter over. Shut still on, guys. Over to starting to filter over to the 8 scale side of things, I think. So did you guys hear that noise, by the way?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I heard something, but
Weird.
then
Yeah, something
it was
weird.
after you started freaking out. Yeah, but I totally agree with you that X-Ray. But I mean, it's natural. Like, so it's not like Sontag has been slow in 8 scale before. Like, he's made mains in 8 scale, even with TLR. So Sontag to me wasn't that big of a surprise. Sure, the Nitro Buggy pace was a surprise. Like him winning the semi in Nitro Buggy, that was a surprise for sure. But in E-Buggy, really wasn't. And Lemieux, on the other hand, I think what surprised me was that he was. I don't know if this is how, because I don't follow 10 scale as closely, but he was like kind of like Polito, but actually fast, because Polito is kind of like, yes, he's fast over like 5 or 10 minutes, but he's not like Ongaro fast. But Lemieux was like really close to being there with Phend on a few occasions. So I think that was what was most impressive about him. But still, at the end of the day, like Pekko said, the track was really 10 scale style. I think what's really gonna tell if these guys are here to stay is, well, basically the next big event. Was it Wicked Weekends next?
Wicked
That
Weekends,
always gets a bit rough, but it's still indoors and so on. So I think if these guys are going there to begin with and then do well, then that's gonna tell more. But so I mean, Sontag's been doing a lot more 8 scale. Like you remember, there was some big 10 scale race, and Sontag went to a club race for 8 scale.
Yeah, and he
What was
got
it?
beat by intermediate guys.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, still, he tried practicing 8 scale. So he's putting quite a bit of effort into 8 scale, and I think their E-Buggy is actually pretty good. I think the X-Ray E-Buggy AE is good, but I think the X-Ray E-Buggy, I don't know what they changed, but the newer version it looks really freaking good for some reason.
No offense to his intermediate guys, they're actually pretty fast. But yeah, he got beat. He got beat straight up. But I think Sontag can take some confidence out of this race. He needs it. I think he needs it. So, all right. So we're all on the conclusion. Lemieux was very impressive, but this isn't the only time he's going to impress because he was very impressive in Nitro Buggy as well. And I think we can move on to the glory that is Nitro. What do you guys say? We're all about Nitro. You know who's also all about Nitro? Dollar Hobbies. A big thank you to our new sponsor, Dollar Hobbies, with over 13,000 RC products and 130 plus top brands. They've got everything you need for racers, bashers, and crawlers. Fast shipping, great prices, and an epic indoor track at their Minnesota shop. Support those that support the hobby. Visit dollarhobbies.com and use promo code LEFTY in all caps to save 10%. That's right, LEFTY. Saving 10%. Go check them out. Help us out. Links for that in the written description of the podcast. You know what? We haven't put up no video of this race, but everybody knows they saw it. We're not going to worry about that. But let's get into the glory that is Nitro. This is when I started like really paying attention. I'm not going to lie. I was when I figured when I saw that the electric stuff was over on Wednesday, I was like, wow, that was fucking fast, right? And then I was like, okay, now it's time to pay attention. Because this is the shit that I geek out on right here.
And it was actually funny at the race. It was like people like I felt like the race ended there. Like people were sharing like notes and the secrets from the cars, and Cav was just running around and asking, "What did you have in the car?" And everyone told. Like it was funny because everyone acted like the race ended.
Hey, I forgot about this. Dumbest comment of the week last week on the No Name RC podcast was I shared, I think it was J Concepts that he had won, Ebuggy and Truggy. And I shared it few hours after it happened. And this guy from England, Ian Goddard, comes in there and goes, basically, he says, I'll bring it up. He got mad because I shared the results. He goes, I was going to watch. I'll tell you exactly what his comment was because I got him back pretty good. But I have to call out this comment because it was stupid and it was funny. And he got mad at us for doing my job. I didn't even share it. I didn't even make the post. I just shared it. He goes, "It's so nice to one who won the race before I'm actually able to watch the bloody video. Thank you. Just what I wanted." And I said to him in the comments, "Hey, Ian Goddard, next time I'll make sure to message you and ask you if it's okay to post the winners." That's
You know what he should do? He shouldn't check Facebook or Instagram.
I mean, I just shared it, but I do. He probably doesn't get his news from the No Name RC podcast anymore. So
it's the same thing like with F1. When you're watching it, like if you don't see the race live, you are not going into like Instagram or Facebook to check because there for sure will be results.
But if I see the results, I always remember the comment like, "Thanks for spoiling it for me, idiots." So you don't do that? It's only me.
No.
Oh, so you're one of those dickheads then. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that, but
I thought it was a dumb comment because it was like hours after it happened, and I just had to say it. When you make dumb comments, we're gonna talk about it. I think he unfriended or unfollowed the NNRC because people kind of.
Well, I wouldn't if someone put me on blast like that.
You blasted me. What do you want me to say? Hey, the comments
No, but he was really pissed because he really wanted to see that, and you spoiled it for him.
Exactly.
Like you need to see that man's perspective.
I'll make sure to message him next time.
Yeah. I think every time we post results, we should do like an email list. Like, hey, is it okay if we post results? Like have you watched the race?
Or maybe
and then if
spoiler alert or something like that.
Yeah, like, hey, we're gonna make this Facebook post. Like, we're gonna have to tell who won the race, guys.
Or maybe you can do like in Instagram, you can swipe to the picture.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You should have big spoiler alert. Then we can swipe.
Yeah.
Oh, these are the results. That would be good. Yeah.
It was funny.
Actually, that I wouldn't mind that if F1 did that because it's like every fucking time when they have the race in Asia, it's like I'm sleeping. I ain't watching this at 4 a.m. And I bet that's what it feels like for most of the Americans if the races are come by 4 a.m.
Yeah, for sure.
So I kind of obviously like it's your fault, like the guy's fault. Why do you open Facebook if you want to watch the race? You don't look at the results if you want to watch the race. But I feel for him. Like, like I feel for the guy. Like, what do you mean? Like, the guy woke up that day, was like, dude, it's Raw Nationals. It happens once every fucking year, once a year. And my guy, it's in Texas. Like, I love Texas. I bet my guy's winning this today. Then he opens Facebook, and there it is, the No Name RC podcast. Phend won it. Fuck, that's not his guy. What's the point of him watching? What's the
Exactly.
point of him watching at that point?
Exactly.
All
You
right.
get frustrated.
Yeah.
You see that.
Okay.
And then you have to get that out to the world. So he went there and commented and let you know, like, dude, you just ruined my Thursday or whatever.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, let's move on. Max, you always got to tear the ass out of it. Tear the ass out of a wet paper bag. All right. We do apologize for spoiling that race, by the way. That race result.
Yeah.
But guess what? He got to watch Nitro Buggy, which we're all going to talk about. So Nitro Buggy qualifiers. Phend absolutely dominant. 3 out of 4 rounds and a second. If a second in round 2. So yeah, Phend was on a fucking tip. He was like on it. And then Stefan Dalen, he TQ'd round 2. And then he had a 5, and he had a second in round 3. Yeah, 34. I don't know what happened to him in his last run. But
He blamed out. He tried to do it in 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, he probably had it in the bag at that point.
Would Seth have gotten to TQ if he went for then? Do you think it was?
No, I think
Was he in the fight?
Phend was first at that time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So he wouldn't.
So there really wasn't
no
a chance because
Yeah.
I defend 10-minute runs, no mistakes, 1 fuel tank. That was impressive. That's impressive.
So there was some kerfuffleage about that. I was watching Wheel and Trigger Tuesday night, and Danny Chavez was talking about this, how Phend cut the track to get on the lap.
I mean, that wasn't like
okay.
It wasn't illegal, so you can cut the track.
It wasn't.
But at the Worlds, you cannot.
It's illegal in the Worlds, right?
Yeah, it will be.
And to be fair, Phend has been getting 10 minutes everywhere since last year.
Sure.
So this isn't a surprise.
To make this you need to have like 12-minute runtime, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need to have the in lap.
Yeah.
Then you need to have the out lap. And so that's like,
it's like
11 minutes.
11:30, 11.
Yeah.
Like at the Worlds last year. Drake made it, and he had to have like 30 minutes.
Yeah, because Radovan, the lap time is like 50 seconds.
All right. Well, let's go through our qualifying here. We had Phend. Well, obviously, so people that don't understand this, so Nitro Buggy is different. It's done IFMAR style. It's odd and even It's odd and even finals. 4 people drop up. 4 people from each final bump up to that next final, and then the top 8 out of the top 16 go straight through to the semifinals, except Phend, which I like, because I think that if you put all that hard work in, you should fucking start on pole. So I think IFMAR needs to change that as well.
I think so.
It was top 24 who made straight.
Yeah, because they have 15 drive. I think 15 is. 15. I think 15 is too many for a track that size.
Yeah, it's too much.
I think 12 plus the last chance.
Yeah.
But I still agree that the TQ should go through.
Yeah.
I think that's like, Canas at the Worlds. Like, imagine if something happened to him at the semi. Dude's been dominating the race for a week, and then like a pebble happens, and you're like, your race is over.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
And that we go back to 2012, Elliott Boots dominating qualifying at the Worlds and doesn't even make the final.
And then there wasn't last chance back then, so he had a server go out in the semi. That was it. I think that's too much. I think, especially if you're second, then you earned it. You were second. You didn't win. But if you TQ, I think you should get
to them. So then you said how many went through to the semis? Then it was
24, I think.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I think so, because it was like the first guy, and it
must be
3 bumped up.
Yeah, 23
bumped up. Yeah, 3 bumped up. So it was
Phend
12 and
plus
12.
24.
12 and
Yeah.
12 and 12. So 24 or 25.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I forgot that. I suck at math. So top 25. Top 25. No. Yes. Top 24 made it in. So I don't remember
No,
Cole Caston.
25. 25 is
25.
Phend TQs. And
Yeah.
then 12 and 12. So that's 25.
Okay.
I love the
You know that's going. It went
yeah.
just like that. I'm an idiot. But let's go. Okay. So we'll go to our top 10. So it was Dakota Phend, Seth Van Dalen, Mayfield, Sontag. Fuck me. If you'd have told me Sontag would have been in 4 or 5, I'd have said no fucking way. With the Wizard, Jared Wiggins, Camden Lime, Jonah Wilson, B. Rose, Phelon Win, Little Bump, Tebow 10th, FCJ in 11th, Mason Fuller on 12th. Fuck. I when I saw it on in 12th, I was like, nope. He had a 16, a 112, and an 8 and a 6. He wasn't even in the top 5. He almost didn't make the fucking semis. Fuck. No. And then Cavallari. No, dude, because wasn't Cavallari in the quarterfinals?
No, he qualified 13.
Did I watch a different fucking
25.
race?
Top 25 wins through. There is 2 semifinals, odd and even.
Yes. Okay, we got it figured out. I'm got it. It was Cavallari in 13th, Lee Setzer, Aiden Horn, Chase Lemieux, Spencer Rifkin, Ryan Lutz, Adam Drake, Joey Bordon, Caden Fuller, Walker Spinred, and Spencer Hackett. And then Cole Caston. Tyler Hooks made the semis, didn't he?
No, but there's 3 bump ups from quarters.
No, that's the top 25.
Tyler Hooks is 25th.
His? Oh, he made the final.
Yeah. But Bada bumped up with
Nate.
and Ogden came from the
Ogden bumped
quarters
up.
to the final.
He did. So I was impressed with Bada, and I was also impressed with Nate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Both of those
But
guys
again,
do not
10 scale
race
guys,
much.
10 scale guys. 10
Mhm.
scale guys.
10 scale guys.
Yeah, 10
And
scale guys.
we have to talk about Ogden bumping up from the quad. I'm not surprised though. When it comes to these type of races, okay, he didn't do well at the Worlds last year, but when it comes to nationals and all that type of stuff, this is where Ogden is really good. Like,
But let's be honest here. Are we getting a bit ahead of ourselves? No, we talked about the quarters already. So he made his way to the semis from the quarters.
mhm.
He was like, wait, I forgot. I opened the wrong semi. What was he in his semi? He finished. What the hell?
Him and Ashton Abdul had a good battle in the
I think Cole get in from the last chance.
Ninth. So he was ninth in the semi, a lap down from Bump.
Yeah.
So nowhere close getting through the regular way.
And he got in from
In the semi in the last chance, Lutz dominated. No questions asked. FCJ was second. Then Drake was third, and Ogden was fourth.
Yeah.
Frankie flamed out. Drake was doing this weird, super long
stupid
first.
mistake.
Yeah, he did a weird first stop, like a long 10 minutes, and then a 5 minute, and then I think Drake would have had it, but he just crashed. Like I can't remember where, but it was
He
just like a
crashed.
weird
I
crash.
remember. I remember watching it. He crashed.
Yeah. So I think like a lot of things went Cole's way for him to get in the main, and sure, he still made the main, no doubt, but it wasn't like a dream run where he like was fast or anything. He just was in the right place in the right time, I think.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happens when you have so much racing, right? He was able to race his way into it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I want to say kudos to Roar for bringing back the fucking LCQ, because Clayton was against it, and I told him, I said, dude, you need to bring that back.
I mean,
It's the most exciting thing.
Why do you take
Super
away the LCQ?
Because they're on-road guys, and they don't understand how great the LCQ is.
I think you can just say they don't understand. Period.
I don't want to beat Rod on, because I think they did a good job at this race. I don't want to fucking bash them.
I have some suggestions.
I'm sure you have some suggestions. I'm sure everybody has some suggestions.
Okay, but at least I think it was overall a positive thing, like we said.
Yeah, it was. There wasn't
Putting
that
this
many.
together. Yeah, and then now you have the LCQ, you had the TQ going. Like I'd argue the Nitro, what they did with Nitro Buggy, this is the format F should run. With the difference of running just 12 in the heats. So TQ
Yeah.
to the main, I think Euro should have that. 10-minute qualifiers, I think
Yeah,
Euro should have that.
10-minute qualifiers are the best.
Yeah.
That should be normal.
Yeah, I think I would much rather do 4 10-minute qualifiers than 5 5-minute qualifiers or
Yeah,
whatever they
exactly.
do now. So I think that would be much better.
Yeah.
And yeah, TQ to the main. Perfect.
Well, I also like that they had 2 spots. I thought that was cool. So
in the LCQ?
yeah.
In my opinion, it should be only 1 spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
agree.
it more interesting.
I'm sure. You know what? Let us know in the comments. 2 spots or 1 spot. I'm sure most would say 1 because that's how it is at the Worlds.
Exactly.
1 spot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but then
It's
the Worlds
the
doesn't have
last chance.
It's
but
the
the
last
Worlds doesn't
chance.
have you.
Yeah.
The Worlds doesn't let
It's not
TQ go straight
it's
through.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't.
not
But
last 2 chances. It's
yeah,
last
exactly.
chance. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have it so that TQ goes through 5 and 5 from semis,
Yeah.
and then 1 from last chance, and you end up with a 12 car field.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm sorry. My math was off and you guys were fucking confusing me earlier. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Okay, we talk about Ogden. Can I now tell you who went through the semi A? We go semi by
Let's
semi.
go through the semi A.
So this was the one Pekko was beating for Cavalier. So you definitely watch this one. Maifield starts from the lead, wins like by a almost a lap. What half a lap at least? Yeah, no contestant. Wiggins in second with a decent gap to Fee.
Yeah,
he did go behind Fee and Rivkin for a second, but oh wait, who is that? Yeah, Rivkin. Wilson, sorry. For a second, but basically he was second.
Yeah.
All the way through. But then behind him, I think Pekka, you can go through this because I think it was Fee, Rivkin, and Cavalieri who battled for third. Even though Cavalieri fell back a bit in the end.
Yeah, I think Jonah had he was safely third.
Yeah,
and then 4, 5, 6, 7 they were battling. I think at that point, who is it? Who was
Rivkin and Fee and Cav, and then Aiden was behind.
Aiden was behind at that point. He was I would say probably 5 seconds or something like that behind, and then Fee, Rivkin, and Cav had they were racing. Almost.
Do you have the video already, Keenan?
I have the video. What do we want to look at?
I think they were racing the most of it, and then Cav. I think there was some traffic also in front of Cav or something who he hit. I think it was.
So I have 2 incidents here. I have the Cav and I have the Rivkin bump incident, Cav bump incident, and I also have the incident between Cole Ogden and Mechanic that people were debating, but I think Cole Ogden was in the right. So you want to go through that first, and then we can have a look. I'm going to put this full screen so we can get.
There was also some problem with traffic.
So here's the incident between Ogden and Ethan Mechanic, and I think Ogden's okay here personally.
No,
yeah,
he's not.
Really? Look how far out Mechanic was.
I mean,
let's go back.
That's not the line for that corner.
All right, I'm not disputing that, but
he's going if he would have carried that speed, he would be on the dust on the left.
Yeah.
But that's where Mechanic was.
Yeah.
No.
What?
Yeah, he was offline and had to come back in.
That's not offline. Because
he's fucking sideways, dude.
You need to go a bit wide.
Look at Keenan. Look at the car who comes behind Ogden. I don't know who that is.
That's Ashton Abdul.
That's correct.
So look. Yeah. So this is the quarter.
Okay, I see that point. What you guys are making.
Okay, this guy is sideways. Yeah, I get that. But he's still on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Look at where Ashton comes in. Ashton comes in pretty much exactly same line as Mechanic.
Yeah.
He's just not sideways as he lands.
And I
And
mean,
look how Ogden just
yeah,
T-bones.
T-bones. But now, Keenan, listen this. If you are offline on this track, you are in the dust.
I get that.
Yeah, that's
I
a
get that
fact.
100%. So actually,
That was
mechanic.
just Ogden. That was Ogden just being like thinking what he would drink that evening. So he forgot for a second that he's driving the race, and he was like, "Oh shit, the corner went that way," and
Jesus,
he
man.
went straight into mechanic.
Mechanic
That's
actually,
like
that was actually a very good battle in the quarterfinals.
yeah,
If Ashton Abdul was battling with those guys, huh?
not that corner. He wasn't a good.
Well,
battle.
you know what? If we also, if you want to talk about takeouts, Mechanic took out Ashton Abdul too, and in that same race. So we.
Oh
looked at that.
yeah. I don't take any sides.
I'm just saying, I'm not
I
taking
just think
sides.
that-
I'm
that
just
was-
saying what I'm seeing.
yeah.
okay. So I retract. I thought that curl was okay, but I don't know.
That's kind of like, you know, you could do that into any 180 that has a jump after it. You could shoot in full speed where the guy in front is squaring up. You could do that in any 180. And if you hit the wheels of the guy who's in front, it's not going to look that bad. But I mean, it's still like a takeout.
All right. Well, let's look at what I think was truly takeouts here.
Yeah, this is with so here we have Wilson in second, Wiggins, Rivkin,
Hold on,
Fee,
let's
and
go back.
Cav.
All right, so
I don't know, like, because we were speaking before we started recording with Pekko, well, the three of us. Fee very rarely takes people out.
I know. Well,
So
he said in his
was, like,
interview,
surprised.
he said in his interview, his dad said to keep on going. So here we go. Here's the Cav incident. Hold on, do I not have the collision one? Slow it down. Okay, sorry. This is Rivkin and Fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a takeout.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
takeout. People's like, well, he slowed down and this.
No,
Nah.
that's a takeout. If you're under someone's swing, it's a takeout.
Yeah.
All right, let's
that's
have a look at it.
I think people go with the full speed for the first collision.
Okay.
Go way back. Yeah,
Here we
let's
go.
look at it full speed. Because the thing is, if you're driving on the highway and you rear end someone, you're not like to the other guy, like, hey, you slowed down, you have to pay my insurance fee. You know, like it's the same on the RC track.
Yeah. I mean, this I don't get because he could have done like aggressive pass there in the 180
Yeah.
after the double.
I think what Fee did here, go a little bit back, Keenan. Like replay the whole thing. Can you slow it down from the video player?
I cannot, but it has a slow motion thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's play the whole thing. But I think what Fee
Here,
tried
he could
here
have.
is, yeah, I think what Fee did is he saw that Rivkin went wide, so he tried to undercut him. So you know when the cars go into 180, and he tried to like Rivkin go wide and he would cut inside. And then this other one, this is just a regular takeout, you know.
Yeah, that's
Just like
I would say
too fast.
he
into
made
the
a
corner.
he made a small
Yeah.
mistake.
Just look at here.
coming in too fast.
Rivkin is going wide and Fee is squaring in here. So Fee, I bet that in his mind, he's like Rivkin is on that line that Rivkin is now. He has to go wide. Like there's no way he's gonna make that corner in a fast pace. So he has to go wide basically to keep up the speed. So Fee in his head is like, okay, so there's gonna be a space on the inside that's gonna open up. So he tries to keep fast speed up and go to the inside, but Rivkin instead protects the inside. So in that scenario, the car in the back needs to see that the car in front is protecting the inside and switch the approach to go to the outside, you know? But obviously Fee was too aggressive here in the initial phase of the overtake that he didn't have time to do that. So he went all in that Rivkin's going to go wide, but he didn't do that. So,
Dude.
and then Rivkin cost the track too.
He did. I bet you Rivkin was pissed off. The Cavallari. Okay, so this is collision one.
Let's just
let's just
don't
play
touch
it.
anything. Just play it. Yeah. So the first one, pretty much exactly like I said. He takes him out because he wrongly estimated what was going to happen. Rivkin smartly protected the inside, but he took a big risk there. And then the second one, he just overjumps it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was this like he got nervous because he touched Spencer and lost focus, or what? Was this his line? Like, did he run like jump this really long? It looks weird. I don't know, but
Yeah.
But to be honest, like if I was his mechanic, I would just say keep going, and if you get a penalty, you get a penalty. I've absolutely like on that section of the track, you don't wait. Like you can't wait on that
Yeah,
section of the
exactly.
track. You can't see back there, and it's a high speed like a left-hander. So like especially on this one, you don't wait. The other one he could have waited, but this one you don't wait.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the way the racing is in US, you never wait.
Yeah, because
It's
the thing
different
is
in
that
Europe.
I
In Europe,
think
everyone,
like
I think, waits.
yeah, but I think even in Europe, people should never wait, but they should get the penalty. Because if you take
Mm.
someone out, it's like what I told about Sontag. Like he waited, yes, but in the middle of the fucking track, so people crashed into him when he was waiting. So like, and even the waiting thing is that you know, for example, the Rivkin when he cut the track. So let's imagine Cavalier was not in the equation and Rivkin cut the track and Fee let him back by. At the end of the day, like they wouldn't lose any time, but they made a crash because Rivkin cut the track. You know, so the waiting is kind of it's not the fair way to go by unless it's like there's just two cars on the track and you two are fighting for the win and you touch the car in front and everyone else is like
Yeah.
half a lap down, then you can wait because then the race continues. But other than that, I think the waiting is silly. You just like you wait for the penalty that comes.
So people raked Ongaro over the coals for what happened at the Ebuggy Euros a few weeks
Yeah.
ago, right? And we examined that and we saw what he is looking for. I kind of get why his dad told him to go, right? And but what is the moral thing to do? I kind of agree with you on that point. Where like let it wait and let it be into the name of the judges. But then we have to start bringing in video evidence, and we're not going to catch everything on video, right? So
No, but that's the thing that if these drivers wait, what's the point of having judges? And the judges don't get practice. So what happens is then when someone doesn't wait to win the race, and the judges doesn't see that because he's on his phone because he doesn't have to actually look at the race. That's the issue. Because you have to like there has to be a need for the judges in general. So then we get an idea of how to referee these races. And then the penalties have to be harsher. Like if you take someone out, you have to lose more than the car that you took out did. I think that's like that should happen. Then people will watch out taking people out. But if you can just take someone out and then wait and then go again, you actually benefit from that in most scenarios because the car in front, his car was on his roof. He has to get back into his rhythm. You can get to attacking him straight away. So I think that's why even morally it's better not to wait unless you absolutely know that no one saw it. Then I think it's just like cheating in a sense.
I find it funny that everybody was pissed off at Ongaro, but nobody's really talking about this besides us.
Yeah, well, I guess
US.
I think
And I
it's
like
the
Fee.
US. Yeah, it's the US people like Fee and Rivkin is a hack. So
Well,
like,
that's
yeah. So I think like that tells you the whole story.
well, his dad chimed in on the live stream and said that's revenge for all the things that he's done.
Yeah.
And I believe that I said this on the live stream. I'm not. You can't see everything as a referee, but Stitson does a damn good job of doing that. And I've said this over and over again: is that man should be training people how to referee races, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I think if Raw just added maybe another member to the RMT to just do that, there would be more eyes on the track, and these type of incidents would stop. And I have nothing wrong. I know I love American racing. It's Rubbin is racing and Albers is out, but that was a bug. Like that was a fucking takeout. Like 2 of them.
Yeah.
And if I'm those drivers, I'm pissed off. And it's kind of bad for Fee because I don't think he's a dirty driver, but I think he's just under pressure. And in the end, he kept on going and he didn't get the penalty. So it worked out for him. And all 3 of these guys made the finals. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it isn't right. But that comes down to having proper referees and enough eyes to see that type of stuff.
Yeah,
so he got away with 1. He got away with 2, right?
Yeah,
And-
but you know that is exactly the reason why he got away with that is because people usually wait. So now that he didn't, he got away with it, and like that's the issue. Like when everyone waits, you get a huge benefit from not waiting. But when everyone gets a penalty, you can't do anything about it because it's not in your hands. You know, that's why you should always just drive, and then the penalty comes.
You know what? I think that's probably the best advice. And I would also say that this is the only race in the USA that they actually race with referees, right? Or a person dedicated to find this type of stuff.
for sure.
So
You'd imagine someone would get a stop and go for that. You know,
I think
Actually,
this
there
would have
was
been
people
Europe.
who got stop and goes. I was like, what? There is referees.
Well, okay, here's a battle question. If this was at a European Championships, this would have been a stop and go, right? Or a penalty added to afterwards?
Yeah.
he would have gotten 2 stop and goes for that.
I
Yeah,
probably
he
would have
would've
got 2.
got-
He would have got 2.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good with that. I don't want to. I like Fee. He's young. We don't want to fucking scar him. You know.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do, and he made it into the final. But I find it
I
funny
think-
because
I think
because-
the first one, I think he got surprised.
I think so
I think
too.
in his
Yeah.
mind, he thought that the gap in the inside would open up, but Rivkin was smart about it. Well, in hindsight, not smart about it, but like in that situation, that's what you do. You square up so the car inside don't get the inside. You protect the line. The second one was just this, you know, what is it now? CTO, BTO, OTO. What's this? PTO fee takeout.
BTO
What's BTO?
bump takeout.
Yeah, bump takeout. Yeah, that was a little bump in the ass of Cavallari. So
That and Rivkin, to be honest, that was a
Yeah.
big bump. All right, semi B: Sontag, Van Dalen, Tebow, Rose, Lemieux, and Line. Surprised. That shocked me.
Yeah, Sontag. I don't even know. I'm kind of speechless about Sontag because you know Van Dalen, he got a TQ round. He was solid in the qualifiers. Looked like actually the only one who could challenge Phend realistically. But I don't know what went on with Sontag. He didn't even get like a amazing start or anything. He just, you know, went over into the lead and kept on doing fast laps. And
Yep.
you know,
I-
yeah, nothing more to
he
say
did
about
good.
that really.
I think I give a lot of credit to Tater. If you can say we wish what could have happened, but if he wouldn't have hit that fucking cone and broke his car, I don't know what he broke. But
No, he didn't broke
he
car.
didn't because he was out of the
his
race.
drive shaft came off. It
Oh,
was loose.
Well, I mean, I'd count that as breaking them.
yeah, he hit that
Not
pole. And he-
break. It's a
Slightly
mistake.
damaged.
Wrenching mistake.
It was a wrenching mistake.
Yeah.
really nothing
Yeah?
to do with the cone.
Yeah,
that he
the
hit?
drive shaft came out. At least that's what I heard.
But I think it
When he
came
hit
out
that cone. I saw it
Oh.
right there on the video.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
your car doesn't break when you hit that cone.
Well, he was not on the track after he hit that cone.
Yeah,
know,
but
it's
the drive
the-
shaft fell off.
You know,
Huh?
I think that's
sometimes even
what is it?
the Slovakians miss a thing. You know, you gotta give it to them.
All right. Well, he's not. Oh, never mind. That's what. He's not Slovakian. X-ray. As we went over LCQ, Lutz and Ogden bumped up from that. I would say people that probably should have been in the semis that were good all weekend. FCJ and Jonah Wilson, right? I would say that I'm surprised that Fuller wasn't in there, but really Fuller was never really in the race the entire week.
I think
Unfortunately.
he flamed out in the
Yeah,
in
he
the
slammed
semi.
out in the semi. I think
Oh,
so.
Yeah,
Fuller?
he-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the pits, right?
Mm.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
All right. Well, let's move on to the Nitro final, which was
Oh wait, he flamed out in the pits, or then he had a really long pit lap for some other reason, and then he also flamed out later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
before we get
I think it would have been tight
Something
to
like
get
that.
through either way.
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's get on to the Nitro Buggy final. But before we do that,
Wait. We haven't gone through the B semi.
we did. We just went through it.
No, we didn't even talk
What?
about Camden Lime or
Oh,
Ryan
I'm sorry,
Love
Max.
not
You want to
making the
analyze
team.
every fucking tenth of a second? Go ahead.
Well, do you know who finished third in the B semi?
I do.
Yeah, because you see the results. Does Pekko know?
Tebow,
So-
right?
Yes,
Was it
Tebow.
Yeah, it was
So
Tebow.
Tebow was in third. What do you think about that? I think that's pretty impressive.
I think.
Yeah, it was.
Go ahead.
What does Pekko think about that? With the
I was
techno of all things.
impressive. It was impressive.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
impressive. I think that
Yeah.
the old guys are still out there fucking making mains. I mean, Cav made a main, Tebow made a main, and fucking Maifield nearly won this shit. So, and we're talking about a guy that's not semi-retired in Tebow, and we're talking about Cav, who's near the end of his fucking career, to an extent.
Yeah.
And these young guys aren't beating these guys in the national finals. So they're still fucking protecting the old guard. Did they win? No, but they took up 2 spots that probably could have went to younger racers.
Wait.
But until these younger racers step up and start beating these guys, but you know what I would say? That Cav and Tebow also have a vast amount of years and experience in racing these nationals and this type of format. And a lot of these guys don't.
The thing about Cavalieri especially is because I was watching the main, he was looking like he was getting like a sixth.
Yeah, the thing was that like
6th to 7th.
there
The main.
could have been chance for like 5th, 6th, somewhere there, because they were not like far away. They were like 10 seconds
Yeah.
from him.
So that
It was-
I
so
think
it was
that's
close.
what's impressive about both Tebow and Cav.
Yeah,
When
they
it
were
comes
there.
to like
They
the
were in
long
the mid-pack.
mains, they was actually like it's like when you put an old dog in a ring, you know, like having their like last fight, but it's not really their last fight. They have a few more in them.
They have some tricks up
Like-
their sleeves.
Yeah. Like you can't teach the old dog new tricks, but they have the old tricks that the new dogs don't have, you know?
I like that,
So-
Max.
Yeah. But yeah, behind Tebow, Rose, bit underwhelming. After all that success early on, Nitro is a bit underwhelming for Rose, but still fourth. Midi is waiting the main. Lemieux in fifth, Lime in sixth, and Lutz the first one not to bump, 3 seconds back from Lime. Which, to be honest, I think that's kind of where he belonged pace wise. Lutz, like right at the back of the main in terms of speed. And other than that, I think Fuller was probably the only one who could have actually bumped. Bourdon was a bit underwhelming, almost a lap down from the top 5. And then, Setzer, he qualified well, but in the semi, he kind of never had that speed.
Okay. All right. I would agree with all those points. Can we move on to the Nitro Buggy final now? Captain,
Well, we gotta prepare it,
we gotta prepare it.
'Cause
While you prepare,
we talk about the LCQ already, so we can skip that one.
all right.
But
Well, you
let's
prepare for it, right?
the Nitro Buggy main.
You-
You know this thing that the person who TQs and goes straight to the main? I think Phend has done this multiple times. Maifield even done it once, that they DTQ, go straight to the main, and then in the main they absolutely suck. For some reason, For some reason. I don't know if it's that they get nervous because they haven't raced in 2 days, or if it's that, because you get the semi practices, but it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. The
Yeah.
tracks, like all dusty, it's different part of the day. In the semi, like people are running race laps around the track, so the track's clean, all the best and so on. But here in the beginning, I was expecting bad things for Phend. I was like,
Dude, me
he's
too.
gonna Phend himself. But then
He was
then
running
everything
away
went
at that
well.
shit.
Yeah, I was like, okay, close my laptop. 15 minutes done. Like Phend's got this in the bag. And then, Sontag was out even before it started, and then it was kind of like Mayfield second, Phend in first, and I was not expecting that in the beginning because it looked like, okay, this is a done deal. Race is done.
I say about the halfway mark. Came in for that fuel, flamed out in the best spot to ever flame out.
Well,
Right
I
there in
mean,
pit lane.
but best spot is on the starter box. Maybe the second
Okay.
best, like next to the starter
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
They actually put his starter box up every time he pitted after that.
Yeah.
They also, so he went, he did a 10-minute run on his first pit stop, and then they caught an audible and dropped it back down to, I think, 8:30 or 9 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8:45.
But
Yeah.
I think when he flamed out, the pit guy made a mistake. I think so. Look,
Tell us what you think about that, Pekko.
I think he might have spilled the fuel to the pipe. It looked like that. It could have. If the fuel gun is leaking, then yes. But I'm not sure. Most of the fuel guns are leaking. But also, the car was too long in the pit. I think he missed the tank pull or something, so he didn't get it out like the first time. And Phend didn't gas it, so I think that's why he flamed out.
But you know what? I know. So, okay, go ahead, Max, and I'm going to say something.
Yeah, the Phend runs his things like notoriously lean, like ridiculously lean.
Yeah.
So, like when you come into the pits and the engine's that lean, it's gonna be also hot because it's hot out there. There's no wind because it's covered. And it's like 5 seconds on the bench and the thing just starts running mid race. You can't really, especially when you open the tank. So like, it's like really low margin. I think if they went for 10-minute pit stops, it would have been even worse.
Yeah,
So because there's at least there's some fuel in the bottom of the tank when you have like 8:30, 8:45.
Yeah.
Because like when it goes below the glunk in the tank, that's when you open it, that's when like it goes like lean as fuck. So I think that's what really happened to him. It would have been worse if he had run 10 minutes, but yeah. And then after that, I think they went much more safe on the pit stop. Like he revved it higher, and they even have the pit starter box there and so on.
So, what this did do was like as soon as this happened, I was like, oh shit, now it's a race.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they got him restarted, and he actually came out a few seconds behind Maifield. And then I was like, is he gonna lose his shit and try to chase Maifield on? And then we're gonna see Maifield just, when Maifield gets a chance like that, he doesn't relinquish it, right? But it didn't. It ended up being and both of them made a lot of mistakes in that last 30 minutes. I remember, so when they came off one of his fuel stops. No, this is the fuel stop that would have fucking put him in front of Maifield, right? He comes in, perfect. It was a good fuel stop for Dylan. And then
Maifield made a mistake on the outlap. So Maifield came in a lap before, made a mistake on the outlap.
Yeah.
So he would have gotten it easy.
Actually, also he made a slight mistake on that last pit.
Who?
For Phend.
Right, but Phend goosed it out of the fucking pit lane.
Yeah, he did
trying to
also
catch him up, and then got stuck in fucking donut world.
Yeah.
Dude, he could not get no grip in that fucking. He couldn't get out of there.
It was ridiculous because usually the pit exit is to the left hand side. So usually you'd imagine if you spin the car, you'd spin to the left, but he actually spin to the right. I don't know how he did that, but he came out the pits and he spun to the right. And yeah, then he was just like spinning. He went like back and forth a few times, and then Maifield came and he went just behind him.
And dude, and then they battled, they made more mistakes. I think he hit that pole at one point.
Yeah,
too.
he did. And
I was like, what the fuck? Like then they battled it out. They were still close, man. I'm so impressed with how Phend is able to just, like, there are fucking no tires, the fucking lines as thin as it is, and that guy's able to put on the speed to come get these. He shouldn't be in these positions. We agree with that, right? He shouldn't be in these positions. We agree with that, but we have to give some leeway because it was a different, it was hard. It was not easy, but as soon as when Maifield made that jump, I was like, okay, that's it. That's it. If Phend don't fucking make a mistake, he's gonna win it. And then even on the last lap, he was, kind of taking his time. I know we're going a little bit ahead, But I said, if Phend makes some fucking mistake on this last lap, Mayfield's gonna be, because Mayfield was coming right behind, like he was on the move. I was like, dude, if Phend crashes, Mayfield is gonna win this race. But he held off, and you can see it meant a lot to Phend, because I've never, ever seen Phend show emotions like that. He was snapping the fucking side railing, like he was like, you know, I've seen him fist pump, but not like that. So I thought it was a lot of pressure relieved right there, you know, showing TLR, hey,
I
fuck
mean,
you, TLR, you fucking fired me, and everybody fucking doubted me, and fuck you, and fuck everybody. 19 years with you motherfuckers, and you guys fucking let me go like that. Here you go, fucking national title right off the bat. Fuck off.
exactly. I think those are the words that I would think Dakota would say. Exactly
In his
that.
brain.
Yeah.
His brain. Yeah.
For sure.
I'll say it for him.
Yeah. Yeah. But
He's in assist.
I
On the way.
do wanna say that I think it's wild that he had like a 10-second lead when he flamed out. And then obviously he come to pitch, flames out, loses 10 seconds and Mayfield's back in the lead. But it took him half a freaking hour to get by Mayfield for the next time. Like to me it's insane that in 30 minutes he pulls out a 10-second gap, but in 30 minutes he barely got by Mayfield, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, because I was watching this live too, so I didn't. Usually I watch this in the morning, so I know the result. But this time I was watching it live, so I was like, okay, like he's running like 3 tenths faster every lap that he gets a clean lap than Mayfield. Like,
Yeah.
he's like travel pace is 3 tenths faster. No, he's gonna win it. Like he has to absolutely fend himself to not win it. And then I watch him like, okay, he's right behind Mayfield and he catches a pipe. Okay, well, he's faster. He'll catch him back. He catches him again and he hits like a back marker or whatever. Okay, he catches him again. And then he spins out into the fucking dust. And then I'm like, okay, last pit stop, his in lap was like tremendous. His in lap was like one of his fastest laps. We could even take a look at it here. His in lap on the last pit stop. Okay, you can't really see it because he crashed after the pits. Scratch that. But his in lap was tremendous. He was fast.
Yeah.
And Mayfield makes a mistake because you could see Mayfield drop back in the background. And then when he was spinning at the end of the pit lane, I was like, this guy at this point deserves to lose. You know? At that point, I was like, he's mentally toast. Because you remember DNC 2024 when Boots won, Ronald Fox second, Phend third? And JQ was showing all those times where every time Phend got close to Ronald Fox, he would blow out. I was getting flashbacks from that. And I was like, how can this guy, like, if he's going like at a 101% pace, if he'd go like 99% pace, he would like no pressure, he would just drive around and win this thing. And I think that's the thing about Phend though, is that he has to have like a bit of a buffer. The Phend buffer, you know, so he can do stupid shit like spin after the pit lane or something like that. Because I was just speechless because I was like, at this point, I was thinking after the last pit stop, okay, Mayfield's got this one in the bag. Like he has mentally beaten Phend once again. But I think now is the point where I think Pekko is right that when Mayfield's car is not that good, he's gonna case jumps and eventually lose out the Phend. And I think that's what happened because after that last pit stop, if it was Mayfield with a comfortable ride, there was no questions he was gonna win. Like he was not gonna let Phend by. But yeah, he cased that triple, Phend went through and rest is history, you know.
All right. Quickly, Pekko, your thoughts on the final and Phend.
Yeah, I think like thinking about it and looking at the race, I think it was just overall too many mistakes. Like looking forward for the Worlds.
Yeah.
I have never seen when Ongaro has a like normal race. Doesn't even have to be a like good race for him. He probably doesn't do like more than I don't know, 4 mistakes, I would say. And that's already a lot for him. Or Canas, the same. If he has a good race, he will do a 45 minutes, no mistakes. And I don't even remember how many mistakes these guys made.
Phend did like 4 every lap.
Yeah, and it was like these guys, when Ongaro or like Canas makes a mistake, it's a small mistake. It's a couple second
Yeah.
mistake. Those mistakes, what they did, they were like could have been like total blowouts.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at where their competition was. Safin Dalen finished 2 laps on. Chase Lemieux was on 94 laps. So they really had no pressure behind those 2 guys. Where I think in the Europe you have Boots, you have Runnerfolk, you have these type of guys chasing you down.
Yeah, but
right?
you still have pressure to win.
I know that. But I mean, we'll see in 2026. Actually, let's wrap up this.
But I think
and then we'll get into
I-
some world talk.
yeah, but I think I think this is the thing. If it was Maifield and Rose had that speed that he had at SIC that one time, you know? I think there's no question that Rose would win it against Maifield like this, okay? Because Maifield made mistakes and then Rose would win. You know, if he had that speed that he had at SIC, Rose. But because it's Phend, Maifield knows how Phend races. He knows that Phend is fast, but there is a mistake coming. You know, it might be that he spins off to the pit lane. It might be that he just touches the pipe and goes wide, you know? But he knows that it's coming. But also, Phend knows that Maifield knows that it's coming. So he can expect Maifield to get comfortable with the fact that he's making mistakes. Okay. So he lets his guard down. And I think we are on the 3rd degree of these mind games. Okay.
I see where you're
Hear me
coming
out.
from with this.
Hear me
I
out.
like
Hear
it.
me out, dude. I knew you would like this. So I think Phend was fast enough to win, which he most of the time is anyway. Maifield was a little bit uncomfortable with this car, which he usually is, I think. I think he usually is a little bit uncomfortable with this car. You can see it from the way he squares up his car pretty much all the time. Okay. Sometimes he's not, but then he dominates. There's like nobody's even close. And I think Phend knew that his pace was good enough that he would beat Maifield. And that's why for 30 minutes he didn't get by. Because he knew that, you know, the race is going to end and by the end of the race I'll get by. But in his mind, he doesn't have like a plan, like this is how it's going to happen. He just knows it's going to happen at some point. And I think that's why he won it. Because he wasn't like, oh, I got to get by Maifield, which he usually has. But he was like, well, it'll happen because it's gonna. And Maifield was like, well, Phend will keep making mistakes. So Phend knew that Maifield knew that Phend was going to make mistakes. And Phend knew that because Maifield was going to drive safe and secure, if he surprised him, Maifield would make a mistake as well. You know, Phend drives 2 or 3 clean laps. Mayfield's like, where's the mistake? It's you now. You know, it's Maifield who makes the mistakes. And Phend goes through. I think, I sincerely think, because the reason why I'm saying this, because I got bamboozled. I just told you, like, after the last pit stop, I thought that he's done it again. You know, he outsmarted Phend. But even I was outsmarted this time by Dakota Phend. Dakota Phend, he was so confident in the fact that he would win that he outsmarted everyone, you know? I don't know if he outsmarted himself. It could be that he hasn't even thought about this. But some form of a higher mental strength has reached Dakota Phend to win the Nitro Buggy main. I think I don't know if it was the Truggy main where Maifield blew it, and that was haunting in the back of his head. Like I can't blow this one, or if it was just Dakota's immense mental strength. to know that he's going to win it, even though he wasn't leading for half of the May. That's my take on it. I think I've given Dakota a lot of shit, but this is the part of this podcast where I congratulate him and his Megamind 3D chess for winning this race.
I like this. I like this theory, Max.
Yeah.
So, in other words,
Send this to Maifield, because I bet like if this analysis, this is gonna, Ryan is gonna listen to this and he's gonna think like, now I gotta know that he knows that I know that he is gonna make mistakes. So he'll like, JQ does this sometimes for fun. That when the car is following him, he'll drive into the pipe, but then like at the last minute, like watch out. I think there's gonna be some of this teasing around. Like Mayfield's gonna like look like he's gonna make a mistake, and Phend will be like, okay, now's my chance, and then may he make a mistake. I think at this point, these two have raced each other so much that it's pure mind games. Pure mind
your
games.
mental chess. See, I
And
couldn't
this
figure
is the difference. This is the difference between him and Europeans, because the Europeans are just like, car go fast, I need to go faster, you know? But the Americans are just like, you know, it's showbiz.
So, I couldn't figure out how the fucking semis. I couldn't figure out the math for the semis, but I totally get what you're saying with this, and I agree with you. It's called playing possum. You know, possums is an animal that plays dead when it's under attack.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
subliminally, maybe even Phend doesn't even understand what it's doing, but it's subliminally doing it, right? But I do feel that he felt that he had enough pace and car and talent in that last 30 minutes that he didn't really have to push the issue. When he did push the issue, that's when he made mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe he made those mistakes to get Mayfield more comfortable.
No. That's gonna happen like in 2 years. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But
You know,
I
that's
don't
actually a
know.
great synopsis. I like it.
Yeah,
What do you think,
yeah.
Pecky? Parrot the Pekko? Pekko the Parrot?
I think I'm agreeing with Max.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
We got two Finnish people agreeing on something here. It's a good day. And Max was outsmarted by Phend. It is a great podcast. You know what? Let us know in the comments what you think about that. Is Max onto something here? Is Phend playing possum? Please let us know in the comments wherever you're listening to this. And don't forget to hit that sub, like, and notification button. So I just wanted to finish this off and say congratulations to Dakota, Phend, and Mayfield for putting on a show. It was a great race. It was awesome. The old dogs are still showing that they got lots of fight left in them. But these young guys are gonna have to do something to step up to them. I mean, you can't be 2 laps down. It was just them. It was the Phend Mayfield show, and it was a good show. And I wanted to say kudos to the Thornhill crew for all their work. They put on a good event as well for the outside looking in. Live RC, they had some hiccups at the beginning with internet, but then they figured it out, and it was very good for Nitro and the last few days. So thank you for that coverage. And I'm gonna give Raw some credit. I give him some flowers. I think they handled it good. I heard that Clayton listened to a lot of advice. I talked to Lance. You know, Lance and him were button heads a few months ago, and they actually were able to talk and figure out some things. And you know what? We forgot this, but we are gotta give some kudos and some flowers to the junior final. We're gonna make a petition, Max, and I want the junior final not to be an exhibition anymore. I actually want this to be an official fucking title, right? AJ Rodriguez absolutely ran away with this. He drives an Infiniti. He's from up the Pacific Northwest. Wyatt Wilson, he's a local there in Texas. Ben Decker, Sully Swensky, he's from up in Minnesota. My good friend, LW4, good job to him. He came in 5th. Max Meals, I don't know him. I probably have met him, but I don't know him. I can't know. Connor Rebus, he's a local there. Owen Vanderbeek from up in Wisconsin. Benny Comarion, who's been very fast throughout the whole last year. He's from up in the Northeast, young man. Dylan Peterson, he was the fast guy, but he had a runaway. He had a crazy runaway. My good friend, Wilson, the Wilsonator Cowart, very good fast racer from out of the Southeast. Braden Bruce, fast racer from Arkansas, who's been competing in intermediate classes at AMS and all that stuff and doing very well. Carter Bright was the youngest. He's like 9 or 10. And he did. I'm so happy for him. I know him. Ben Humphrey, Cash Pieria, he's from the Northeast, and I don't know Charles Bosworth, but kudos to those 16 young drivers. I think we need to figure out a way to make this an official race for these kids have an actual junior title. I'm even all for bringing the 40+ title as well. Go ahead, Pekka. You have something to say?
I think for the junior final, they should make it the same. If it would be official, they need to make it as the same as in Europe. They still have the final. They give the prizes for the finalists, like who finished first and blah, blah, blah. But the guys, the juniors who are not like, who makes the main final, the guy who is the best in that final gets the real, like,
I got you.
real trophy. So he can be the junior champion. I think
Aren't
they
you
need
a
to
That
junior
do
happened to
champion,
me
Max?
one time. I was the junior final winner, and they
Yeah.
gave me a trophy that yes, European junior champion.
Yeah.
But then Ongaro made the main, and he was
Yes,
still
he was the
under
real,
16.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was the real winner.
Yeah.
So
I
it
get it.
should be like that. Because really the guys who are in the main, they probably wants to drive the main, who are 16 and under, but they cannot because of the schedule.
And also, they cannot because it's unfair advantage.
That's
Well,
not.
I don't think you'd like to drive 20 minutes just before your 60-minute main.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
be honest.
Oh, that too.
Like,
That too. Kudos to those young kids, man. We need to promote the youth, and we need to keep them motivated. And I was actually
But I
talking to AJ's father prior to this. So
is Tater's how old is Tater?
it's 18, 19.
Yeah, so basically Fee is by default
He
the
was
champion
probably
every
the
time.
fastest, yeah.
Yeah, Fee was the junior champion. All right. Anything else you want to add before we move on to some worlds talk and top 25? We forgot about Ebuggy. I think we need to get bumps, and they need to have 10-minute finals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have that in the notes, dude. We have
Okay.
that in the notes.
All right,
right
so
now.
we're gonna
What
do
was
that
the
as a
7
wrap.
minutes? The 7 minutes was stupid.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Should we start? Because I have in the notes.
Let's
Race
pay
format
some.
needs to be improved.
Let's
Like-
pay some bills, and
Also
we'll do
pit
some
stops.
ranting. Oh yeah, don't forget we cannot forget about pit stops because
Yeah.
Pekko has video and he wants to talk about it. All right, give me a second. Let me bring up this.
You're gonna do an ad.
Yeah, we're gonna do an ad brought to you by ML Toys. You distracted me. I forgot where the ad is already. Give me a second. There we go. Thank you to
Great
ML
radio,
Toys.
bro.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy with plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
Thank you, ML Toys. I was working on my daughter's Power Wheels yesterday. That thing's fast now. Alrighty. So what do we want to start on? Let's get into some of the things we didn't like about the race then. Obviously,
What was you laughing about, Pekko?
What do you laugh about? My ride on toys? Dude, that industry is bigger than RC racing.
Okay.
Have you
Nice.
tried riding the car, Keelan?
Yeah,
It's
I
not
was
for me,
imagining the
dude. It's
same.
not for me. I would break it. But you know what? We put bigger motors in it. So they use like RC car motors.
Yeah.
So they have 2 on each gearbox, and we put some faster motors and 2 batteries. So now it went from 5 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour. All right. So some post-race thoughts. Max, you have Phend finally able to beat Maifield mentally. Truggy was a pure mental win. Buggy, Phend had the speed, but kept the pressure up until Ryan cracked at the back triple. We talked about this extensively.
We had our theory and everything. I think we can. Let's say this is the theory for now, but we need further research to prove that.
Okay.
Phend knows that Maifield knows that Phend makes mistakes.
Well, let's segue right into the last topic, but we'll make it second. Phend, you feel is the strongest American going into the Worlds next year. Is it just for this race or 2024 when they made the final through LCQ? Why do you feel that way?
Number one, unless the track is rough and bumpy, I'm at this point of Mayfield's techno career, I'm quite sure that's really where he's good when it's rough and bumpy. He's good when it's low grip and a little bit, 180-ish.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like this, Phend has an upper hand on him. Like I don't know if it's the car, like only if it's a driving style, if it's something else. It could be really anything, but at least compared to Phend. And then obviously in Redovan, how Maifield did there, it was tough. It was really tough for him. And then again, Phend qualified fourth, like actually pretty fast, in the Worlds in Redovan. And if he hadn't done that really stupid trying to make 9-minute in a semi for no reason move, he would have been in the main starting from like fourth, fifth at the worst, second at best. So in general, I'd say Phend is the number one. But based on how Phend has done at SIC, he won, right? How is PMB now again?
I don't think he went to PMB.
Oh yeah, Phend skipped that one. Yeah,
Did not.
sorry. Yeah, so SIC he won.
Hey, oh, no. Hold on. I think you've missed Silver State. Let me go check.
Yeah, he missed Silver State.
Yeah.
That's what he missed. Yeah,
But I think he missed PMB too.
I'll check. I'll let you know.
I
Yeah,
think so.
but
yeah.
either way, I
Missed that.
think DNC was probably the only one where Maifield like beat him. Silver State Fuller won, so like where Phend didn't even go. So based on this year, I wouldn't say that either one has been stronger. But yeah, go ahead.
Phend was at the PMB.
PMB.
Yeah. He finished.
And where did he?
I'll let you know in a second. Go ahead. Keep on talking. I will let you know.
Yeah. So.
Oh no! Hold on. I was wrong. Let me check. No, because it went to PMB, but it's different results. So, they don't. Yeah. Give me a second. I will check on that.
Yeah. So, my take on this is that based on this race, based on how he usually does at big events, and based on the fact that he's gonna have the whole X-ray team there, he's gonna have this win to back him up. All of this, I think, are on his side. So I think of the Americans, Phend will go here as the definite number one. No questions asked.
Really? Anybody else would you add to that? Because I was listening to Clayton and it's like, I want to lock out the A final. I think that's I think the cream always rises to the top, and on this type of track, the Euros will just have much more experience in racing on this type of high skip. So hold on, I do retract. Dakota Phend did not make PMB. I apologize. So I was wrong. I've been wrong quite a lot on this.
So I think we don't have like what I was trying to say is I don't think we have enough data from this year to say that Phend or Maifield has built stronger. Like period.
Okay.
Because both have wins, both have beaten each other. So I think I have to go based on like what my gut tells me.
I will tell you this: Phend now has more victories in 8 scale this year than he did all of last year. He had 1.
Very likely, yeah. Very likely.
He has 2 so far now.
He won Wicked Weekend last year. I'm pretty sure he won Wicked Weekend.
Yeah, I think he did.
Canas won AMS, so yeah, makes sense.
So.
Yeah, and of the other Americans, I mean, Mayfield's gonna be there in the fight, but if Maifield drives like he drove here, he's not gonna finish. He might sneak in a podium, but he's definitely not going to win like this, like he drove here.
No.
Like even if he ended up beating Phend here in the end, I think with a drive like that, he's not gonna win it. So that's kind of my take, and then saying that Americans are gonna lock out the A main, like at least get a few drivers in the main, Fuller.
You think he rebounds from this? You think he can rebound for next year?
I think so.
I think he's going to make some.
I can't believe that Fuller would have another race like this. I think what happened was Silverstone went really well. This race, he has his dad pitting for him and Caden. They were supposed to run all 4 classes each, if I'm not totally wrong, and they dropped both one class. So clearly they were having issues in the Truggy and Ebuggy 3 days. And then when they went to Nitro Buggy, they was all discombobulated, no confidence. From what I heard, the Italian power wasn't so good.
I did hear that they were all people with those engines were struggling.
Yes, and like I think what tells is that the newer of the 2 Italian brands on the market was actually more reliable than this older. Well, I it depends on which way you look at it, which is old and which is new. But 2 Novas in the main, and I think who runs even Reds in the main? Rivkin.
Yeah, Rivkin did.
Yeah, but even Rivkin wasn't like strong like he usually is at this race.
Non-factor. At a track that he's won 2 national titles at.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
that's a big surprise. I just realized that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, to be honest, I'm kind of surprised because I was expecting this to be one of those nats where there's like 3-4 guys fighting for the win. You know?
Yeah.
Like Rose and Rivkin both should have been there to fight for the win.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, no,
I would agree with that.
They should have been there. And I think Rose, Fuller, Rivkin, Maifield, Phend, those 5 guys, those are the guys who are the most likely to make the main in a year's time.
I can't argue.
And then
I can't argue with that.
Someone like Van Dalen, if he has a good week, he could do it for sure. But I think getting more than 5 guys in the main, more than 5 Americans in the main, unless something dramatically changes in 1 year's time, it's gonna be tough. That's my way of looking at it.
Your thoughts on that, Pekko?
I would say the same. It's hard. It will be hard for the guys in the US. I think so. That's why I need to give props for Fullers, because after the race they were actually practicing on the track. They went there and turned on their cars and did a couple laps. That really shows that they really want to do it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna come back from that. I talked to his dad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna come out of it. Hey, one bad race does not make your career.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true.
And I think,
but you can see the commitment when you go after a bad race. You just go practice the same track after the final.
Yeah, I think that's something I actually was thinking about when I said about Fullers, that they dropped the classes and they had a busy weekend. That I think it's not like anything before this was a fluke. It's more like this was a little bit of a wake up call. That, oh shit, like we still have to work. Like not everything's sorted. There's still some things we need to figure out. And clearly by that information alone, it shows that they are gonna fix it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I bet that when they come back to this track, they're gonna be like competing with Phend and Maifield again. Because the thing is that Phend and Maifield are like content now with what they've done. They're like, they were the 2 fastest guys in America. Fuller is gonna be like hungry, so he's gonna be coming up.
But I think like looking at Europeans, like for example the Ebuggy Euros, it was super tight. The pack is like super tight here in Europe, so I think there is many guys who can easily make the main in there, for sure.
Yeah.
Plenty of guys.
Like, let's just go through the names. Like,
well, before we do that,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Before we do that, I just wanted to give my thoughts. I agree with you guys' picks, but I think there can be a dark horse like a Lemieux or Wilson.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe even, I think Seth Van Dalen's in the final of the year. Worlds next year. I think so. I think we might see an even split, and then I think the people that might surprise me and make Sontag. We can't even forget about how good he did. I mean, he was good at this race. So I think Sontag, Lemieux, and Wilson are like my 3. I would add Van Dalen in there. I would have Van Dalen before those guys, to be honest. I have Van Dalen right after the top 5 that you said. If you used to say my top 5 right now in America would be Phend, Maifield, Rose, Van Dalen, and
Yeah, I
Ruby's
think
Day.
I think Van Dalen is
Fuller. Yeah.
Fuller. Yeah, what Rose, Mayfield, Phend. Van Dalen, Fuller. I think that's the top 5, not in order.
Not in
That's
order.
the top 5 in America. Rivkin, I think, is like 6th, 7th, maybe even 8th best American at the moment. But because it's the Worlds and it's this track and
Man, you can't count Rivkin out.
everything. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why
I forgot
put
to add him.
there.
I actually put him in that top 5. Oh, I put him before Van Dalen. I think what's happened with Rivkin is that he's been fully focused on 10 scale.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
World
that's his
Series,
focus. He just wanted to make the Worlds, and that's what it is. So we can't count out Rivkin. I'm not going to count him out, right?
Yeah.
He can. I think Rivkin, if he does well, can be podium or win if everything goes right for him. From if you look at history, and the history he's had at this track,
he can.
Yeah. And also
Right?
they will put more time for the 8 scale next year because now it will be 10 scale year. They come with the new car and everything.
Exactly.
So for sure that has to some time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now on the European side, I'll start off. I think I agree with Pekko that I think the field is deeper, and the gap between the racers is a lot less. After you get past that top 5, it drops, and then even in that top 5, there's some gaps. Like they're the only people that are consistently getting top 3s in that top 5 in the Americans is Fuller, Phend, and Maifield. Right? It always seems to be those 3, and then sprinkle in somebody else in between. In Europe, we're gonna see Ongaro. I think this is like Ongaro's heaven. I think the surface is what he likes. I think he's gonna drift.
The narrow line
like
is,
it.
Yeah,
the narrow line is
Yes. I think we see Canas, obviously. I think he's gonna be there, obviously. Boots, even though he doesn't like these type of tracks, he seems to excel on these type of tracks. Finished second at the Worlds last year. Ronafalk doesn't like these type of Ronafalk doesn't like these tracks. I think he'll be good. We can't forget about Coelho.
Yeah, we cannot.
Yeah.
Also, who else? Michael is coming, I think.
I was thinking Orlowski.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Parrot too.
Yeah, Parrot.
And we can't forget Ricardo Berton. Oh shit.
Yeah,
we cannot forget the fucking Kilix.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
And the 6 MIG tires will be probably good on that track. Both Kilix will be fast for sure.
So we just named off a bunch of guys that can make this final, right? A bunch of guys that have the possibility to make this final. Can they all win? No, but
Jona,
we can't. Shit, Jona almost made the final last time. You,
yeah.
We can't discount you. That mean even getting into the David Todds and the Yosemis, these the Barufalos.
There is a lot of guys. Barufalo, there is Robert if he has a good weekend. He can make the main.
Yeah. Look, how about guys in Italy? Barufalo.
Yeah.
Zancatine. Maybe not Zancatine. Maybe not Barufalo. I think Barufalo.
Polito.
Yeah,
there's many guys.
Polito.
And then also French guys. Savoia. If he has a good weekend, he can make.
How about Noah?
Yeah.
How about Noah?
Noah.
Right?
Yeah. There's a lot of guys.
There's a lot of guys.
Now thinking about it, it's a bunch.
Yeah.
That's a lot of guys to compete with.
Yeah. Think about like Skidmore.
Has he even been racing, dude? I haven't seen him race much.
What about Lee Martin with the X-Ray?
No. I would no. I don't see Lee Martin making it at all.
No, but like if we think about it, okay, so
that was a stretch, Pekko.
Like, yeah, but let's think about this now, like sensibly, like the Americans. Okay, Phend, Maifield, and
Fuller, Rivkin.
I think those. I think those 3 are. If nothing goes wrong, those 3 are in the main. Phend and Mason was already when it was in Europe. Maifield should have been there. Those 3 are going to be in the main 100%. Okay, so the rest of them are like up for debate. Let's put that. And then from Europe, I think it's Canas, Ongaro, and Coelho. I think those 3 are 100% in. 100% in. There's 6 guys now. We have 6 positions to fill. So let's now go one by one. Ronnefolk versus Van Dalen.
Ronnefolk.
I think
I'm
Ronnefolk.
feeling Ronnefolk on this track.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Then Ronnefolk versus Rose. I think
Ronnefolk.
that's tighter, but I think it's
But
still
Ronnefolk.
Ronnefolk.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have Ronnefolk in the main, you know?
Yeah.
Then we go down to the list. We go Burak Kilic versus Van Dalen. I think Kilic. Even on
Kilic.
this
Yeah.
track.
Kilic.
Yeah.
And
And then
Barkan.
you go
Yeah. And
yeah,
Bergman.
both. Yeah.
Both.
And then you go Rose versus both Kilic brothers. I
Right
think
now,
both
Kilic
Kilic
brothers.
I think it's both Kilic brothers, you know? So now you have already 9 cars in the main. You have like
We forgot
4
about Bump. What about Lil
Oh
Bump?
yeah. Yeah. Lil Bump.
Yeah. But I mean you wouldn't still put them in front of Kilic and those guys. So you have 9 cars in the main now, which of 3 are Americans, you know?
Mhm.
And then you have 4 spots left to fill. And you know, it's not out of question that, you know, Koki Kato has some
Oh, yeah.
crazy run
Yeah.
or like Naoto has some
Forgot.
crazy run here.
Forgot about those guys.
Also
Yeah.
some Australians.
Yeah, I mean they're
Maybe,
been coming
maybe.
up fast.
But
I think that'll be the biggest stretch, but it's not impossible.
But
'Cause,
we're
like,
for,
they,
go ahead. We're
yeah,
forgetting about 2 fast guys that can potentially make this final. That are Carrot, who made the final in 2024.
we said Karen.
I know, but you haven't got him in your top 5. Your thing. We got Carrot. We got Orlowski, who's a threat.
Yeah.
We got
but
Boots.
It's so stuffed.
Yeah.
It's really.
That's
So
what people. This is why the Worlds is awesome, right? Because it's so much talent, and everybody's all the cream. Everybody's game goes up. I think until you've attended the World, you don't see it, right?
Yeah.
And
wait.
oh shit, there's
Joao.
more.
Yeah,
Joao.
Figueredo.
Joao,
Yeah.
shit, yes, this is his type of track.
Yeah.
Shit,
There's
I
so many
forgot
guys.
about him.
Yeah.
Dude.
So because the thing is that when we were in Redovon, like Rose, Van Dalen, Rivkin, all of these guys was out of their game because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Europeans were so
yeah.
much more familiar with the
Mayfield,
track,
yeah.
to be honest. Yeah, so all of these guys were out of made. That's why we got people like, you know, let's be honest, Carup and even Battier to some extent, and
Yeah.
lots of these guys who are not, you know, Kilic brothers level of drivers anymore, and or will then Carup not yet level of Kilic brothers in H-Skill. But now when it goes to America and the track is like this, it's gonna be the most stacked main ever in terms of names. If we went to DNC, for sure, there will be more Americans in the main than Europeans, most
for sure.
likely, you know. But now that it's a track like this, it's gonna be
I think,
so
yeah, I
stacked.
think this track will even out everyone. It
Yes.
doesn't favor like exactly these guys. I think it will be more even than a Radovan or some kind of like DNC kind of track. I think it will
Yeah.
be quite even for everyone. There might
Yeah.
be some guys who are going faster, but they are not really the guys who could win the race. They could make the
Yeah.
main, but not win. I think so.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm
It will
excited
be.
now.
It's gonna be
It will be a good race for sure.
Yes.
Like there will be probably racing already from the quarters. Like there will be good guys in the quarters.
Absolutely.
so.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know
there's
what?
there's only 24 guys who make the semis.
Yeah.
So
24.
like
That's right.
yeah. So imagine we've named probably like
24
30
guys.
guys. Yeah,
Dude,
24, 30 guys.
it's gonna be
And we're like, who? Yeah, it's crazy.
And probably
I
we
think,
left out someone. We forgot someone.
yeah, for sure.
I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna say in the comments, do you
Hey,
think all right, here's an easy
Parientes.
question.
Parientes.
Parientes.
Parientes,
Shit, forgot about
yeah.
them.
Baja.
It's Europe's got a lot of talent, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that America doesn't have a lot of talent too, but
Yeah. But
it's
like lately,
we're gonna see it
Yeah,
all
but
next week, right?
the thing about Europeans is like the guy in third doesn't finish 2 laps down.
yeah. In Europe, it has been like getting up all the time.
Gotcha.
Level. It's
Because
more
if you
tighter.
think about the Euros last year, had Kilic not broken, actually both Kilic is not broken, and who was it now? Ongaro not flamed out, Ronnefolk would have been 5th or 6th
Yeah.
even.
And same
And
lap
Ronnefolk
speed.
was Ronefalk was like 20 seconds behind the leader or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
So
And
this is the difference, you know.
Yeah.
Like Van Dalen was like laps behind these two.
and looking
Smaller
at
track,
also
though.
Ebuggy
Smaller track.
Euros. No,
Same
it hasn't
size.
been. It
Yeah,
has been
same
like
size.
every race.
Oh, I thought we was talking about this. But you said Van Dalen was 2 laps behind at this race. It's
No,
a
but it was
smaller track.
36-second lap.
Yeah,
It's not.
Mm.
It's not.
small.
Yeah, it's
same-
not that
same as
bad,
you.
isn't it? It
And
looks
it's
small.
like- yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, for example, looking at the Euros, Ebuggy Euros, if you have like, there were like probably 6-7 guys in 1 second in like top 10.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you lose like couple tenths, you lose couple positions already.
Yeah.
It's
Sumi
like
fucking
crazy.
badass. That's all I know. I will be there. I will be there. If I'm alive, I'll be there. Be wheeling lefty in a wheelchair. Hey, all right. So I think we're gonna leave on the Worlds talk.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, what do you think the split's gonna be? You think it's gonna be 50-50 Americans and Europeans? Do you think it's gonna be more Europeans and Americans? There's gonna be more Americans than Europeans. We don't know. A lot can happen, and that's the beautiful thing about the Worlds and the racing that goes into it. Let's move on to Chase Lemieux. You say, is he officially here? I happen to agree. I think Chase had one of the best. He had a great 8-scale nationals for a guy that doesn't race 8-scale much. Very impressive with this young man. We have to give him his flowers. And he wasn't just like a bump in the road. He was actually a contender at some point. So
Yeah.
I hope he comes over. He probably isn't, because he's probably going to do the 10-scale routes. But I hope I wish more Americans will come over to the Ebuggy routes in August. Damn it.
Yeah.
And
Also,
anything to add on that?
Not really on Chase. He did well. He did well. But I have another name I do want to give a shout out to. It's Seth, because
Yeah.
yes, he finished 2 laps down, or 1.5 laps down from the leaders. But how many races in a row has he been third?
He's very consistent. Top
Yeah.
3, top
Yeah,
5.
he's
doing
like-
well.
Yeah, like
And I
every
think-
single race, he's top 3.
And he's a part-time racer. He doesn't do it for like what I mean. He
Yeah.
has a full-time job.
Yeah,
Right?
And I
So
think
that's
they're
impressive.
quite clever also. They know how to set up the car and like they
His
know
dad's smart.
yeah.
Super smart. Super smart. Seth's good. I think Seth needs to get that. He's like Fuller. He needs to get that big. He has not got that big nitro in. He needs to get it.
Yeah, but he's getting
Uh,
close. He's getting
It is
really
very
yeah.
close. Very close. Maybe Weekend's going to be off the hook too,
Yeah.
by the way.
that will be
All right.
crazy.
Race format, and then we're going to look at some pits, and then top 25. We're going to finish off with that. Race format. We all agree that Raw has to tweak it. Pekko wants 10-minute finals. I do too. I want bump ups too. Somehow we got to figure out how to do bump ups as well.
I
And
mean, for Ebuggy, I get it.
Yeah.
Because they ran 3 finals for the A final and only 1 finals for the others. So
or maybe they need to not have 3 A finals.
But you know what they need to do.
3 A finals.
Eh,
I think what they should do is they
have a B main
run
LCQ.
they run the finals like backwards, basically. So, or like at least the B main, that you have a bump from the B.
Yeah,
like they did
like
at the
LCQ,
Euros.
LCQ, like at the Euros. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be good.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be good.
Yeah.
I'm cool with
'Cause
that.
there's 2 ways to do it. One is that all of the lower finals are 2 and the A final is 3, and then you like run with so that everyone gets 1 bump. Or then another way is that everyone gets a bump and the A final gets a practice final, which they already do at the Euros, but for some reason only the B bumps and no one else
Yeah.
bumps. But at the very least, they should have an LCQ from the B.
Yeah, we love bump ups. So, look, they have a lot of tweaking to do with this schedule and figure it out. And the ladder main throws a big monkey wrench in the gears, so they need to figure out how to do it. They probably need to get with. I say this because Lance is very good at planning out stuff like this, race formats and all that stuff. They probably need to get with somebody like him who he's done big races and stuff like that, and they need to really focus on that. And you know what? I think they will. Right, as much as we give Raw shit, right? I think they will figure it out and they will get it done. I just think that whole rush at the beginning of the week it really takes a lot of time, and you could see that people weren't. It was just a big rush. Like I was watching online, and I could imagine how guys were thrashing. You was there, Pekka. You was wrenching on everything. You knew how it went. So I think if they can fix that, and I definitely, I like the Nitro Buggy side of things, but maybe the Nitro Buggy side of things can be one less day, right? I don't know. So maybe
You
I
know,
think
you know what
overall
I
it was done well, in my opinion.
you go ahead, Max.
but I think there. So obviously, Ebuggy format. What the fuck is a 7-minute final? Okay, like who even thought of that? Like to begin with. Second, the bump ups. Sure, that's a done. Like that has to be fixed for next year. My suggestion is this: you do the buggy nats and truggy nats separately. Okay, same week like this. Instead of having 3 classes on um 3 classes on what is it now? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have 2 classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have Truggy and E-Truggy. Okay. And then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have Nitro Buggy and Electric Buggy. And you can tweak it so that, whichever way you want it to, like you can tweak it. But I think this would be like the most balanced way to do it. Because the thing with when in the past they run Nitro and Truggy, but Nitro classes both Truggy and Buggy in the same day, you basically did a 45-minute main, hanged out for about an hour, and then did a 60-minute main, which is like insane.
Yeah.
And now you have AAA mains for Ebuggy. You get to feel out the track. You get to get prepared for the Nitro main. You have semis, and then you go around run the main. Sure, better like practice for the IFMAR worlds is the fact that you can just focus on Nitro Buggy for the 3 days, and you can run 10-minute qualifiers and so on. I do agree that's better practice for the worlds, and that's more like the worlds, which is what they try to do. But I think the future of RC, or the current day of RC, is that nobody goes to a race and runs just one class. What's the last time you've gone to a race that is just one class, if it wasn't the Euros or the Worlds? Like nowhere, pretty much, unless it's a club race. So I think now that Roar has combined, Roar has always combined races, like even Truggy and Buggy was at the same national, so this shouldn't be an issue. I think what they should do is they run both Nitro Buggy and Electric Buggy with an IFMAR style format. And they run it from either from Thursday to Sunday if they need to, or then just Friday to Sunday. I don't know how the schedule was now. And then they run the Truggy before. So you start out with Truggy, move on to Buggy. I think that makes the most sense altogether for the hobbyist and for the pros. Because then for the hobbyist, you can use same tires on both cars. You can test for the other car, so on. That's my idea. And then for me, it's also easy because I only have to tune in for the Buggy classes, so I don't have to focus during the week.
I get it. I'm sure they will. I think Camden and some other guys said that they should run Truggy, Buggy. So we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all works out. All right. Let's go. Let us know in the comments what you think about that. And I say we go to.
But before we go,
shit.
I do want to say I like this. I think actually Efra should take notes.
Yeah.
For sure, I think it's good that we have a functioning Ebuggy Euros and a functioning Nitro Buggy Euros in Europe. But I would be happy to go to a race which has both. I would see that happy.
I think, something like this, similar, that you run, like we don't run Truggy, so we could make like a race that we run E-Buggy first and then Nitro Buggy.
Exactly.
I think that would be better, and that would make the racing better, because then people can tune their cars. Like the E-Buggy race would be like a practice race basically for Nitro, but it still counts. Like it's still European champion after all. So then people already knows like things about the tracks and what to do to the car and stuff like that. So then the Nitro would be even better. And that's also, then you wouldn't need that much practice before Euros, because the amount of practice at Nitro Euros is stupid. It's just way too much.
You travel on Monday and travel back on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the freaking point? And for
we could
Ebuggy
make
Euros,
we
3
could
days
make
is good.
both races for the same time, for the same amount of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're there for the same amount of time. You might as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think those are all good suggestions, and I'm sure Raw will listen, and they'll listen to the racers. And let's see what happens in 2026. But I think it was a successful event. Of course, you're never going to make everybody happy, and I think Raw bust their ass to make it happen. So good job to them, and good job to everybody involved in it, man. Seriously. All right, Heat. You know what? Let's get into some pit stops, but before we do that, let's pay some bills. I can never find this stuff. I blame Max. There we go.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
And I still played the wrong commercial because they don't do JQ Racing no more. I do apologize for that. That should be replaced with S-Works. I'm sorry. I know the S-Works guys are going to be on my shit if I don't say that. All right. So, Mr. Pekko, fastest pitman in the West, they say. That's I know you've been waiting to talk about this. Let's bring it up.
That's what I would say.
All right. Let's
Is this the video he posted on his Facebook? But I gotta say, this was fast as hell.
It was good.
I remember
it was
like
under pressure. It was under pressure because Horn was coming. He was coming from behind. So
but this is like,
and actually
great.
Also there was this one guy. I don't know who he was in front. Maybe Wilson or something. I don't know. But there was
you
this blue
passed
car.
him. I think you got by him.
Yeah, we got by Aiden, but this guy was
in front at this point.
Distracting a bit, like at the pit lane, because I didn't really see Cav's car behind from that. You can see when he throws it down. I was like,
oh yeah.
Oh, no,
but still, the stop. Oh, it's so good. But I had one faster stop than this in qualifying. It was a bit faster, but this was a good stop.
That's not Wilson. That is red and white.
Maybe. No, it's Maifield. It's Maifield.
It is Maifield.
Yeah,
that's Truggy. Yeah, shit. That was a good stop, Pekko.
It's a good stop. Yeah, it's a good stop.
I love how pumped you are about it.
Yeah, I was because I saw that he.
Yeah, I remember like back in the day when Pekko, because Pekko is a little bit younger than I am.
Yeah,
we went to practice some track, and he wanted to practice refueling for me, and I remember like that was one of his first time practicing.
Yeah, and I was just
he got a bit
everywhere.
he got a bit too excited, so it was basically just he filled my car with fuel.
You know what, Pekko? Maybe you could.
The problem at that time was I was trying too fast.
Yeah.
So, I guess walk us through what's going through your mind and some of the things you try to do when you do a pit like that.
Yeah, it's like the first things you need to calm it down. You need to at the end of the day, it's a simple thing. You pick up the car, you open the fuel tank, put the fuel in, and throw the car. It's a simple thing. You don't have to overthink it. Many people I see at the pits, they are overthinking it. They are putting the car some weird way and like opening the lid with the wrong like hand and having the fuel gun in the wrong hand and like stuff like that. You just simplify the one thing and do it slow at the start, and then just when you get used to it, do it faster every time.
Yeah, but I think it's crazy how slow some of these pro pit stops are.
Exactly.
Like back in the day when I was looking at Ongaro, I was like, oh, his pit stops like look slow. But I think like this was like 2016 or something.
Yeah.
When he started winning big races, he obviously that got better, and I fully realized this in 2022 because I was at the World's warm up. I was pitting for Ronafolk, and I like very rarely pit for anyone, so I wasn't that fast. I was pitting a lot, but I mean I was refueling him, and then I looked next to me, and Ongaro comes into the pits. His dad usually isn't even pitting him these days. It was someone else. It was like ridiculously fast with two guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
If
And
you're
I think same thing with
guys.
Canas. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's same thing with Canas. But then when you look at some of these super fast, but not at the top level, they're dropping like a second and a half every pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Try to get that at the track. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
So
nowadays, like especially nowadays,
Yeah.
on this track, like 1.5 seconds is quite much.
I
Yeah.
think so. That brings up a great topic here. One of the fastest pit guys I've seen is Sontag, Mike Sontag. Right?
Yeah.
I watched
he's
Sontag
fast.
win Mayfield race. I watched Sontag help win Dakota Phend's races in the pit.
For sure.
In 2021. No, sorry, 2023 in A main, and I've seen him multiple times. Right? He's uber fast. I don't know how the fuck he does it.
Yeah.
He's fucking fast. Right? So, and then I think at SIC this year, I was watching my buddy Danny Stockman, who's a NASCAR crew chief. Right? And I actually got to watch him he was right there in the pit and watch him do a pit. He's not in the top NASCAR, he's in the one below. So this guy got in a wreck in the first incident, and he was like, fix that car, first lap incident, fix that car, and came back. Many pits. They came in multiple times to fix things, right? So he was pitting Mayfield at SIC. Dude, he took that shit. They were doing 2-man pits. He was doing the fueling and one guy was catching. He took that shit as serious as fucking car pits and helped Mayfield a lot because he was doing really fast pits, right? So Truggy helped. He won Truggy, and that's when I started saying, I'm like, you know what? This pit stuff's starting to get important, right?
Yeah, it is.
And then me and a friend, I'm not going to say his name, but me and my friend have been talking about this for the last few days, and you know how we always want innovation and big innovation and all this type of stuff, and me and you and I, Pekko, were talking about this.
Yeah.
This is the innovation, pitting, right? It's always been important, but it's becoming even more important as everybody's starting to do things faster and things are getting long. This is where we're going to start innovation coming out. How to pit faster.
Yeah.
And you said you can't pit faster because you can't physically do it faster, but I guarantee you these pit stops are going to be dropping less and less times and gaining people more positions on this track. Especially, this is why we love fucking Nitro, right?
Yeah. That's true. And 10 minutes qualifiers.
Yeah.
You get a one pit in that.
Yeah, people say, well, we can have pits in electric. It's not the same. I don't want to see you fumbling around with a battery.
Yeah.
It's like you can't flame out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I think this is as those tenths of a second become more and more important, the pitting is going to be more and more important. Yeah. If you think about it, these guys, like Mayfield, he should just get some guy to just pit him, right?
Yeah.
But you need that great pit guy who's going to do that job for you. And I think that it's going to be we're seeing these guys have these dedicated pit guys. They practice this stuff. They train for this stuff. And it's amazing. Now I think we're going to start seeing technology, maybe different fuel guns, maybe this type of stuff to change. Like you said, what if we get a quick change pits thing? Like we just, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like how cool would that be? How much faster would that be instead of you having, you know who not to let pit for you? This guy. Don't ever let me pitch you. I can catch the car. I can catch it. I can catch it. But don't ever expect a fast or even semi-fast pit stop from me. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on this? And then we're going to move on to the top 25.
I think like pitting could be faster with two guys, but they really, really need to be in sync.
Yes.
Then if they are not, you're faster alone. Like for example, I would be faster for sure. Like, okay, let's take the notes. the times. Okay, this is not like 100%. I didn't watch every pit. This is like from semis and the finals. In the semi, this exact pit stop was 2.25 for me. Like I'm taking the time when the car comes into the hand and when I throw the car, when it touched the ground. So I did 2.25. Tater's father did 2.7. He was the second fastest in my list. And then Lemieux had 2.8. Long had 2.88. Lutz had 3 seconds. Rivkin had 3.06. Maifield had 3.1. Wiggins had 3.21. Phend had 3.25. Camden 3.28. Van Dalen 3.3. Wilson 3.33. Aiden 3.26. Tebow 3.28. And Brandon 3.5. That's all the pits I took.
Yeah. So basically, the difference between the fastest and the slowest is 1.3.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and like you pit in even in the semis, you pit what 3 times?
3 times.
If it's 30-minute semi,
Yeah.
that's 3 seconds. That's basically 1 crash. Like imagine, okay, here on this, like basically for the American level racing, where you have more technical tracks, like crashes come more often, so it's less important. But on European level, you could lose European Championship by 3 seconds. It's
Yeah.
very regular, pretty much
And
these days.
also, if the pit guy is not consistent,
Yeah, that's
he
true.
has
That's
like
true. Like
those were probably the like good times. They're normal times. What if you do a mistake? It's another
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. So that I think that's a big thing, and there's a lot of like little things, like Pekko said, like some people are really fast with 2 people, like Testmans. They were notoriously fast with
yeah.
2 people,
Yeah.
like the mom and dad. But then, like Sontag, I think the way Sontag fuels now is faster than Testmans did together, and I think the ultimate pace with refueling is achieved with just 1 pitman. Unless the people that the 2 people are actually perfectly in sync. I think
Yeah.
it's like there's a little bit of a like a crossover period. So
Yeah.
if you are a really slow fuel man or fuel person, it's gonna be faster with 2 people. If you are really fast, it's gonna be faster with 1 person. But if you are really fast with 2 people, it's gonna be the fastest. I think that's how it goes, but it's really tough because I remember I've been fueling up for some people, and I've been picking up the car. So I pick up the car, and I see, because I look at the freaking gun, and I see the gun is like
It's all right.
getting to
Yeah.
full. I'm
Yeah.
starting to throw the car, looking back, and the guy is still on the freaking
Yeah. That's
fuel
true.
tank.
That's true. That's
So if
usually
that
the
happens,
mistake.
yeah,
You flame out.
that's an extra second. So I think there's at least on the highest level, there hasn't been. Well, not at the tippy top, I think it's fast, but then a little bit down from there, there's like considerable time to
And
be
actually, I think like when you are refueling by yourself, you can basically already lift off the tank puller,
Yeah.
leave the gun on top, and then throw the car with the gun.
So
So basically,
you're
using
fueling
that,
as it goes, and then
yeah,
when you
that's
pull the
where
gun
you
out, the
save
tank
most.
slams down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the most. That's the where you like take the most time. Like
Yeah.
that's the
So-
like, probably the fastest way.
My last question to you is: are we going to see sub 2-second pits at some
for
point?
sure.
I think so. I had a good pit. It's I think it was in the last qualifier or something, but it wasn't in the video. It's like it could. I think it was somewhere there. It was like probably 2.0, 2.1, somewhere there.
Okay.
Because I already did like 2.2s a couple times.
All right.
Yeah.
Well-
I think one difference is also like if your tank is full or empty, because if you run like a 9-minute strategy, you're most likely coming into the pitch with an almost empty tank.
Yeah, that's true.
But if
But also,
you
I feel some of the guns drains the fuel quite fast. It's like I was also
that's
surprised that
different.
my gun, every time I even thought that I didn't fill it up all the way, but it did. It's actually quite fast.
Yeah, that's like one way to get it a little bit faster. I think the most time you lose when it's just one person is pulling the tank open. So
Yeah.
that's like, I think that's like half a second there. If you didn't have to pull the tank open, that's half a second easy.
Yeah, that could be it. And also, like, if you do a mistake there, you can, like, the tank pull can slip out of your hand and you miss it,
Yeah.
basically.
Or like when I was pitting JQ and it fucking broke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the
That's
whole
why.
thing
That's
lit
why.
up.
Actually, I think the best tank pull is the TLR one. The one with just like how is it? It's just like a
Is it like a stick that you pull?
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's a stick.
it's a loop.
No, it's not a loop. It's a stick.
Yeah, but
Stick
they have
hammer.
one that has it's like that, and then it has a loop like that. It's plastic, so it comes up, and then it has a loop like that, and you. It's
No,
not a.
no. It's not.
Well, the other one they have is like a long one, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the long straight one. The long
Yeah,
straight
that's
one.
like the Truggy one.
Yeah, that's like
That's
the
the
best one
Truggy.
in my opinion, because you don't have to search for the like. Because if you have the loop, you need to search for it. For this, you can just take your whole hand and rip it open, and it never breaks. Also,
until it breaks.
Until you break it,
breaks.
you're gonna pull the whole damn tank out. That's what you're gonna do. You're not gonna bring them, brother. But maybe we're gonna get those quick fuel things, right?
That
And
would
then
be cool.
and then go on.
The problem
there's
with that could be that you spill the fuel if you don't if you miss
Well,
it.
that's where you have to have a good gun. I think technology and fuel guns is something that we haven't looked at.
Yeah, but I want to end this on one thing. You know why Pekko's pit stops are fast?
Oh Jesus!
You know why?
Here we go.
It's a very simple explanation. Because he's a racer. You know. Because most of these pit guys are someone's dad's, someone's dad's friends or whatever, or just team managers or something. So they really, most of them never really wasn't fast on the track. And most of them, they don't really have the mentality that I'm going to practice and get over this plateau and get on the top level of the world on RC. And that same mentality is to the pit stops, you know. They're content with where they are. But these racers who turn into pitmen, most of them are incredibly fast. Same with marshals, to be honest. Like Degani is a great example. Like, dude's fucking big, but he's fast because he knows how to marshal, you know? And I think that's something that like most RC hobbyists should understand. That like a really like there are some good marshals and some good pitmen who are not good racers, you know? But most of the time good racers translate to good marshals and good pitmen.
Cool.
I think that's just a fact.
All right. Well, let us know what you think in the comments about that. You know what? It's time for a little bit of ranting, and we're not going to take too long. And you know what? This commercial will forever be on this podcast, even though it doesn't exist no more. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
Alrighty, so with the Raw Nationals comes the top 25 RC rankings. Now, this inspired me. If you guys want to know how the RC top 25 rankings go, I just re-released an audio-only clip from Rick McCreary, who's the owner of this, that we did all the way back in show 36. So that's about 6 years ago. Seriously, that's about 6 years ago. Nah, 5.
10 on top.
Huh? We weren't doing video then. We weren't doing
Who was
video.
on top?
Shit.
10, 6 years ago.
Tebow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I bet you Tebow was on top.
Tebow?
Maybe Ongaro might have been on top. Because it was Ongaro because it was after I started to. Yes. Because the podcast started in 2018 after the Worlds.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, true.
So, all right, well, let's bring it up because as I predicted, this caused quite the kerfuffle, but it came from you guys over in Europe this weekend, all pissed off and all pissy about Ungaro dropping off the top of the lister, and the Americans are happy because finally Phend's up there. But I think Phend's been number one before. It's usually either Phend or Maifield, to be honest.
Yeah.
Tebow stayed up there for quite a long time. And here it is. So we have Dakota Phend moving to the top. Now, AE guys and Europeans were upset. I posted this up on my Facebook, and I was like, this is going to trigger people. And it did. We had 135 plus comments on that. And I get why people get upset at this, but to be honest, right now, this list is what a lot of manufacturers base contingency, and a lot there is weight behind the top 25 RC rankings at this moment in RC.
And I would say, what if Ungaro would drive these big races like Silver State, DNC? He hasn't done those.
Then he might fall down. Well, if he doesn't do well, then he falls down.
Yeah, exactly. But if he does well, he would be still on top.
So I would say this. Does Dakota Phend deserve to be on top right now at this very moment? Do I think Dakota Phend is the best
I think
8-scale racer right now? Right now? Yes, maybe this week. But
I mean, after Roar Nationals, yes.
Yeah,
he did well. He won 3 classes. I mean, it's a good result for him, for sure. Then people has to think that, okay, Euros will be next week. So
maybe
for
it changes.
sure, if Ungaro would win, he probably will be on top.
I'll say this. Dakota Phend, Davide Ungaro, and then I'll bump Don Elliott Boots because I'll put Ryan Maifield there. I think those are the 3 fastest 1/8 scale racers in the world right now. Right? Both have their positives and negatives, but I think out of those 3, the 4, said 3, 4. I apologize. Out of those 4, I think 2 of those guys can do well on any track. And that is Dakota Phend and Juan Carlos Canas. I'm not saying that Maifield can either, but we've beat that horse to death that obviously on the high bike tracks and stuff like that, it's a little bit of a difference, right? I talked about Ungaro on my last podcast, how I feel he doesn't come over to the USA enough. And I was talking to him earlier, and he said he's going to come over. Obviously, he's coming over to practice at Thornhill. And I encourage him to come to some of the race time events as well. We all know that he isn't a big fan of DNC, and it's not really a style of track and whatnot. And he's had podiums, but never won there. And that's the only real on track he's come to. Well, he came to Thunder Alley for RCGP. But I would say in that top 5, they have 4 of them right. I kind of put Mason Fuller in that top 5 as well at this point. But I don't know. I think any 3 of those guys, Phend, Ungaro, or Canas, can be the number 1 at this point. But right now, it's Dakota Phend. And he won it. And so for people that are saying, I saw some people complaining that other nationals don't count, like the Italian nationals. Why Ungaro won the Italian nationals? Why didn't that count? We also had the Italian race. Well, it doesn't fit into basically this list is based off races with competition, right? So not all races have equal competition. Yeah. You cannot compare the Italian nationals to the American nationals, exactly. Right? You can compare the European championships to the American nationals. Absolutely. So it isn't about each driver's individual national title. And this is where I would say you Europeans should get your shit together and start having some more big fucking races, because you guys don't even have a lot of races where all the best come together. Let's name them all. Euros, Montpellier, maybe Buggyland. That's the 3 races you have.
All. Yeah.
When in America, we have I say we because I mostly go over there, but there's a plethora of races. So there's going to be more Americans on her. There's,
It's true. But the market is bigger. That's why.
Yeah. And also America's one country where Europe's many, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But no excuse. You guys have had big fucking races. You have a fucking track down in Padova. I know a lot of people don't like to go to it, but it could have a fucking big race that everybody can go to.
They will bring back the Neo race. just different name.
I
It
get
will be
that.
next year.
Well, hopefully it happens, and hopefully it continues to happen, right? Because it
Exactly.
has to be profitable for that to happen,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we can't look at IBC. IBC should be on this list, but obviously we've been plagued with rain for a long. It was one of these races that everybody went to, but
Yeah, it
obviously it's
was.
been rained out. So you guys need to get some more fucking races over there in Europe, for fuck's sakes,
Exactly.
where everybody goes and races together. Fuck, don't you think I get tired of? I have my two favorite European races, Montpellier and fucking Euros, and then I have to wait to fucking Buggy Land all the way in fucking October to I'll see all you fucking Europeans. Fuck. Yeah, somebody's gonna
So
get
mad.
mad at me using too many fucks. Get your shit
So mad.
together.
I mean, I'm cool with it. I can get the race in US. If we would have more races, there wouldn't be that many drivers in US from you.
And maybe if you get, I'm hoping with the return of Neo Buggy that we start seeing some of the Americans come back over and race.
Exactly. That would be cool to have some Americans in Montpellier and Buggyland.
Buggyland seems to be the race they want to go to.
They should return the favor.
I 100% agree with you, Pekko, but you need to make races that they want to come to. And Neo was one of those races that they like to come to.
And Buggyland and Montpellier, I would say.
Well, they're not coming to Montpellier because you know what happens at fucking Montpellier? They do not do well. And you know what?
They would. I think they would.
You know what, though? I will say this. Montpellier has definitely changed the layout the last few years, every race.
Yeah, they had. They had.
I would love to see the Americans come to Montpellier.
Exactly.
But the last American to come there didn't even make it to the semis.
But yeah, I think the problem is that the tracks are the same. That's the thing in US, because the tracks are, the
I
layouts
know.
and everything, they're not staying there. So that probably what Europe should. I mean, Buggyland is like that. The layout changes every year. But Montpellier the layout is the same.
Yes. Well, no, Montpellier changes the layout too. They changed it this year.
Yeah, but it was different for the Euros.
And it's cold in fucking Montpellier and threat of rain too.
Yeah.
So I get where the Americans coming from, where they say they want a track like Neo, and that's where they used to come, and that's probably
exactly.
But I would really like to see that come back because I think that right now the Europeans, back when Neo was hot, the Americans were on top of the game.
Yeah.
I think they were the faster country at that point, right? Does that make sense? They went into the period where because before it used to be the European was the fastest racers, right? European, Japan. Fastest racers winning the most worlds. And then for the longest while, the Americans had to go over and race in Europe to get better. The Gani and all those guys, Pavitas and all those guys. Then when 8-scale racing started taking off in the States, you started to see a switch. Then a la Neo Buggy days, that's why we have Drake winning 3, T-Buzz won 3, Cavs won 1. I think Tasman's won 1, right? But I want to see it come back because now
Me too.
I really do. Or a similar type of race.
I never got to race that race.
I never got to go to it either. So I want to see it come back. I hope the Americans do it. I hope the Americans come to the e-buggy worlds. I know a lot of them ain't. I think they're missing out on a great chance to come over and be the first e-buggy world champion. But you guys definitely lack those races that the Americans do. And also, I would say from generally talking to a lot of the American races, it's just generally a little bit more expensive for them to travel to Europe. Even though, like, if they go to Portugal, they'll realize that Portugal's fucking cheap. You know what I mean? It's actually very cost effective compared to United States and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they don't need to come to Europe. That's the problem. They don't need to come to Europe. You guys
maybe soon they need to.
Maybe they do. But and I hate it when people take away Ongaro's win at Redovon, right? Like, people forget that he won his first fucking worlds in 2018 on an American-style track in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see Max, he's just sitting there waiting. So we're going to let Max take the floor.
Yeah, I've been doing some research while you two been talking. So, okay, I'm first going to tell you how I feel, and then I'm going to tell you how the facts are. Okay. So, right now, Dakota Phend is ranked as the top driver in the world. But if Ongaro and Phend would face off with each other, I believe that Ongaro would win more often than Phend. You pick 10 random races around the world and you put Phend and Ongaro in the same place. I would pick Ongaro to win maybe 7 out of 10 times. 6 or 7. Same thing with Canas and Ongaro. I would pick Ongaro to win 6 or 7 times out of 10. 10 races at random around the world. I would pick Canas to win DNC, Silver State, maybe some other American race. Other than that, I'd pick Ongaro to win. Okay? That's my feeling. That's what my gut tells me. Okay? But then let me tell you how the facts and the point system and how we quantify how good someone is. Okay. So the way this list works is you have points for each race. And the races are not handpicked by some random guy or not even Rick McQuarrie who owns the site. The races are chosen by like the points of the people that are attending the race. So if all of the people in the top 25 attend the race, obviously the race is going to count. But I don't know what the quota is, but there's a certain amount of points that the race has to get together that it counts on the list for as a counting race. And even then, if there's higher level drivers, the points you get out of the race is more. Similar system as you have in golf and other sports that have events that not everybody goes to. You don't have a series. So you have a ranking system. Tennis, I think, has this ranking system as well. Okay. And now is the research part about this. So I went back to look until 2020, so when COVID hit. The only driver to go above 150 is Maifield when he was with Mugen on points. Right now, Ongaro is at 144.9 points. That's the highest he's ever been. So Ongaro has never had more than 144.9 points on this list post-COVID. I don't know, before that, I didn't want to go that far back. Mayfield's the only one to go by that, by 150. Fend's top is 146. And right now, Phend is at 145.2. Okay. And that's the points. Okay. So even with all the races counting for Ongaro, sure, there's that Euros result where he had a DNF, which hurts him more than Fend's DNF at the Worlds because Phend races more. You know, Phend has more recent results to put on the list and give him points and then count that average up. So having one DNF doesn't really hurt that much. But Ongaro has that one DNF that hurts him. That most likely there is a point where that DNF drops and and Ongaro doesn't attend another event that his points go up. But yes, that DNF hurts him, but also him attending only races where he's good at helps him as well. Because the less races you attend, the less chances you have for a DNF, you know? The less chance you have of having a tough weekend because you only go to races where you're good at. So when we look at the data, when we look at the points and the way these points are counted, I think it's clear that Phend is the top ranked driver in the world. Does that mean still that he would beat Ongaro every time out of 10? No, it does not. It means that when you look at Phend from the past 2 years, which is the interval these results are taken, and then after a year they drop, or after some time period that is undisclosed, it drops into the lower tier of points. That's when, you know, that 2-year period kind of the older results weed out, the fresher results give more points. And if you look back year back from now, I think it's inarguable that Phend has looked better than Ongaro in his respective field. You know, he has more top results than Ongaro. He has more consistent beating off these guys. But last time they faced each other, yes, Phend was worse. But I think that's the thing about ranking is that what is the expectancy of this guy to win his next race, basically? Not who is the absolute best against the absolute other one. Because the thing is that, yes, Maifield is 5th on this list and he's trailing Phend by 20 points by the calculations. But if the next race was DNC, I would still pick Maifield. Yes, that doesn't mean that Mayfield's a better racer or better ranked driver, but that field suits him. And that is the big difference here. That right now we have so few events, and each event has their unique characteristics. Like tennis is fucking tennis, golf is golf. It's not like here it wins more than the other place. Like, yeah, sometimes, but you have the same elements everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, it's hard to calculate the head to head from a ranking. But the ranking tells you how well this person has performed against their peers. Okay. And when you look at that specifically, it's undisputable that the Phend performs the best against his peers around all the races he attends, than Ongaro. And I think that's as simple as it gets. But I still think Ongaro is the best racer in the world.
You said, but you agreed with me that Canas was the best racer in the world fucking 2-3 weeks ago.
I'd say best overall, but I think Ongaro has a higher peak.
I think people have to understand that this is a rankings and not a point series, right? That's number one, like you said.
Exactly. No, but even point series, like, it's not that the fastest guy wins every year.
Most consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So consistency is a thing. Sometimes, like even now, like Verstappen is not that far off in the F1 standings, but it's undisputable that, Norris and Piastri are incredibly fast, and they're much faster than Verstappen. But Verstappen somehow fucking gets his results once in a while. And I think that's what people need to understand, that objectively, Norris and Piastri at the moment are in better form in F1, but like the points are still closer than the objective truth is.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Look, this isn't taking away the fact that Ongaro is the fucking current world champion and won that 3 times, right, in a row.
Yeah,
this is not taken away from that. That is in IFMAR standings, he is still number 1, and a lot of people will say that he is number 1 in the world. But at the same time, these guys are out here racing quite a lot. Canas is included in these guys because he's coming over to race against these guys quite a lot, right? I include Canas in this a lot. And like you said, if you put these guys up in races and different events and all that type of stuff, I still gonna pick Phend, Canas, and some of these other guys over Ongaro sometimes. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that Ongaro is fucking a world champion. But I think it's unfair to say that this is for 2 years he's going to be the number 1 driver on this ranking just because he's the world champion, right?
Exactly.
Yes, you can never take that away from him. Now, if this was a point series where he was obligated to go to these type of races and to get points and get paid for each one, this would be a different story, right? Then we can talk about it a little bit more in depth. But I think we're a few years away from having that. Even though we have the races, you just need to, we can't even. I know I'm going back on JQ's soapbox here, but I 100% agree with him. I don't even want to put more races in there. I just want to agree that we're going to send these guys to these certain races. Obviously, the American races still count, but let's throw in one fucking European race. Let's throw in one European race where these guys go, where everybody commits to going. It could be one European race. It could be a fucking race in Asia. Look, we got the Asian Buggy Championship. Why couldn't Philippine Masters be one of those? I'm good. I sound like JQ. I know.
Yeah, but it's true.
It's true. Like, just do 4 races. You could have 1 in Philippines, 1 in Europe, and then 2 in America. Pick 2 races. You can make it easy. DNC or Silver State. Silver State's probably better because it's inside. Make it Silver State, and then pick a race time event because they're both guaranteed races, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the problem is there has to be rules and regulations. There's going to have to be tech at each one of those races. There's going to have to be a pro Joe separation class where the pros get the attention and probably the pros get teched where the Joes don't. I mean, they tech people at DNC, right? But the focus should be on the pros and that type of stuff. That would be ideally what would be happen. And then we have a World Series all done virtually. But we can't, we're getting close to that, but we got to agree on that, right? We can't, this is come back to the series thing. So for now, this rankings, while we may not agree, if you look at the standings, it's not far off. Yes, we can disagree in some of the orders of some of them. Maybe this person should be here and this person should be here. When you look at that top 5, it's not that, it's pretty accurate. Okay, maybe Boots maybe isn't in the top 5 right now. Maybe Fuller's there. But those can be debated. But the top 3, I don't think we can argue. Top 4, we don't think we can argue about.
I think I could be wrong about the number, but I think in 2018, at least in 2018, all of the people in the final, except for CJ Jellin, could have been also CJ Jellin was in the top 15. But if I'm not wrong, the people in the top 15 on the list, those people, the finalists at the Worlds were all in the top 15 of the list. So basically the list got 3 people wrong of the A finalist of the Worlds. Okay? At the Redovan, I don't think that held true because of the fact that it was biased towards the Europeans.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The Americans are going to love you now.
No, I don't think saying that, of course it's biased towards the Europeans just looking at the results. Europeans did much better than the Americans, and if it wasn't on Australia the race, I don't think Europeans would have done that well.
Okay.
And I think that proves that when you go to a place where nobody is perfectly comfortable, the list has actually a really, really solid prediction. And I think, again, now that we go to Thornhill, as we said it before, I predict that almost, I'd say everyone from who is in the main, maybe barring a Sontag or a Lemieux, is going to be on this top 25 list. And
I would not argue that.
most likely close to being in the top 15 again. And that's just that's the point of this list. Like when you take everything, all the context away, and then put in everything to a level playing field for everyone. Not like you build a new track. No, you have the average of surfaces, you have the average of layout, you have the average of conditions, and tire doesn't have a big effect, and so on. That's when the list is right.
Cool. I just wanted to reiterate something because we saw a lot of this. We shouldn't count the 2024 Worlds because it's the Europeans go there, it's a home track and all that type of stuff. I just want people to understand that saying that Redovan,
It's still a World.
It's still a World. But listen,
Vegas was Worlds, and it was heavily biased towards the Americans.
But this is my point about this. They always say they go there all the time. Hold on. There have been multiple European championships there. I'm not going to lie about that. And there have been other races there as well, Nitro Buggy and stuff like that. The only people that this is a home track advantage for is the fucking Boulder brothers because it's theirs. And it's not like, it's like saying, oh, well, Thornhill is Mayfield's home track because he's American and he's raced there 4 times, right? It's not like that. People think that Canas just hops in his fucking car, drives 800 kilometers to fucking Redovan, and then goes out there and fucking turns laps, right? No, it's not like that. Yes, have they raced on this track many times? Yes. Has the track been the same as it has for years? Yes, they did change it, right? They did change it. Same but different. But the big thing that caught people at the race last year was not the track, but was the surface. The surface was different from 2022. Then that caught the Europeans off guard because they were used to a certain way as well. Well, what happens is they're used to racing on those high bite surfaces, right? So when people say that to me, I'm like, that is just an idiotic and uneducated, not uneducated, but just a ignorant comment because you don't know, you don't understand. And you know what? When they did have the track open for testing, for that week or so before the Worlds. It wasn't fucking like that. It was dusty and blown out and fucking shitty. So it was nothing like this. You really didn't, you only learned the fucking layout or whatever. You didn't really get any testing from there because you fucking threw that shit all out the door when you got there that weekend. And you know what? You know fucking what? The Americans have all the chance they want to go over there and do the same fucking thing and go over there and test. That's why I give Rivkin his flowers for going over there in 2022 before and doing some testing and stuff like that.
And you know, like Thornhill has held now 3 raw nats indoors.
4.
Yeah,
One
but
outdoors.
3 indoors. Yeah,
3 indoors.
Mayfield has visited and raced at Thornhill more than any of these Europeans have done at Radovan. Okay? Maybe barring Battier or Canas, maybe because they had Spanish nationals there a few times. But like if your argument is that these people go to Radovan so often, then expect there to be like because there's fucking Lone Star every year. There's all these kind of club races there every year that Mayfield goes
There's
to.
way more races at
Rose
Thornhill
goes
than
to,
there is.
Wiggins goes to. Like, this is the track that has the most names and big like attendance in America. Like, even Paris doesn't get this much at this point, I feel like. Because like Mayfield goes to this place really consistently. Phend not as often, but he even goes here yearly pretty much. And they've had Aurora Nationals a year before they have the Worlds, just like in Radovan.
People went to Thornhill to test for fucking Radovan last year.
Yeah. So like this is exactly that sort of fallacy. So if the idea is that because the track is local to Europeans, this one is like now local to Americans. So the same thing must be applied. And if you say that and Europeans come over to Thornhill and do well, then how do you look now? You know? And that's why I think it's silly. Sure, of course, Radovan benefited the Europeans, but it was not because they visited Radovan that often. It was because they raced in conditions like that often.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And just
you know
like
what?
Vegas,
Go ahead. Pekko has something to say.
Just like Charlotte should have favored Americans somewhat. Vegas in 2000, that should have favored Americans. You know, won.
So if you look at it, where the Americans have won, lately, so Thailand, where Cody King won, it was, I would say it's smooth, but it wasn't blown out and it wasn't dusty. It was oil.
I think that was even. I think that was
that was pretty even, and he won there. But if you look at Italy in 2014, and I know no Thai, I know you're not American, I know you're Canadian, but you did race and roar, and that's 3 days. That was fucking concrete.
Yeah.
That was concrete. Yeah. And the fucking Americans were fast as fuck there. So
yeah,
I really think that's a very ignorant comment without actually, like, it's like saying, hey, Pekko, let's go load up the van and drive from fucking Finland to Spain for the weekend. No.
Well, he actually does. He actually
does. Pekko, you had something to say.
I don't know. But there's one thing I'm not sure about. Everyone used additive here at the nationals.
They did?
Yeah, everyone did. That's what I'm unsure of the Worlds. What's going to happen?
Did you guys use? Did you try with and without? No. Did you try with and without?
We just used all the way. From the, I think, second practice or something. Everyone used additive.
But that's illegal in Islam.
Exactly. Actually, the rule says that you cannot do additive at the track, at the place.
Yes. But I remember this.
Outside. This is the stupidest rule. They need to change this. Because I don't know. I don't know how it will be.
I think they need to.
You know, Efra has the same rule. Still, I think they still have the same rule.
Yeah, I think they still have
you cannot use additives at the premises of the track.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember when I was a little kid, and I was going to get something from the car, like or bottle of water. Walk to the parking lot, and there's just a fucking group of Igons putting additives on their tires in the fucking van.
Yeah,
You
at the
know,
parking lot. I
that's
think
how
that's all fine.
Yeah, it's legal because it's in a parking lot. It's not in the racing premises.
Exactly.
But it was just so silly, and I was like, oh, I saw a group of Igons in the fucking back of the van doing something with the tires, and my dad was like, oh, they're using additives, I guess.
I think they should just allow it because to police it's going to be impossible.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
but the
You
thing
can
is,
smell
the
it.
thing is that
You
the
can
thing
smell it
is,
before the run.
yeah, it's
easy.
ridiculously easy to smell it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And
but
also,
then
remember when
again,
they had the sauce police at Neo?
yeah, but then again, knowing IFMAR, I think they'll allow it.
I think they
think
kinda
they'll
They will
have
do
to.
actually.
and
I think
also
they will do
isn't
something stupid. There will be
what
some
did they'll
stupid
do?
rule.
You mean like measure a
I don't
fucking
know.
stinger diameter?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's finish off on that. Okay, go
Also,
ahead.
one thing is they updated IFMAR rules on tire size. Have they updated a raw rule on tire size?
No,
'Cause
but
I
it's
remember,
pre-tech, I was told.
yeah, so that's the difference. So
No, for
at
IFMAR.
raw, that's not in rule book.
Mm.
So that's the thing. At Roar, this was the same thing last year. So Jake, I remember
You better
Jake
check. Last
Concept,
time you said something about a rule, you was wrong.
they may have backtracked it, but they did change it to be post tech.
I know.
Am I backtracked? That could be. So last year it was the same thing. At Euros, they did pre-tech. At Roar Nats, they did pre-tech. And J Concepts especially was really close to the lower limit. And Matrix is the biggest. So
Because they have taller
we
tires.
know, yeah,
Taller
we
tires.
know how that all went at the Worlds because they knew that this was their chance to make sure that they'll do well. Okay,
You really want to get sued, don't you?
yeah, but now the rule book as of last I checked it says that it's going to be post tech at all points of the race. The tire must be over 100 and what is it 12 millimeters or 116. Which one is it? 100. I
109?
don't know.
Wasn't it 109?
109. I can't remember what it is now, but
Hmm.
they're basically the lower limit. If they're running same foam, same tire, same wheels as they did last time out at the Worlds, which I think everyone did, that's under. That's going to be under at the end of the main, looking at people's tires.
I think it's
So
pre-tech.
that's going to be another. But why would they snip, snap, snip, snap? You go for the rule, post, pre, and you write the rule book with post tech, and then you change it before the world. That's silly. Like, why would you write the rule book right the first time?
Well,
and they could have changed it back. Who knows? But there was a time where they specifically said post tech, and I
Pekko.
remember it. I remember it well.
Well, I'm sure somebody will correct us, and then Max, you might have to come and correct yourself in the comments. But let's finish this off. Stinger diameter. Failed Cav. You know what he did? Pekko said he just went and took a pair of pliers and squeezed the thing. I've never seen him check stinger diameter.
Yeah, I
Didn't
have
know it was a thing.
never seen that either. I was at the tech. I was like, gave the car. The guy had this small thing he was putting into the stingers or trying to put them in. And then for Cav's truck, it went in and he just looked at me and said, it's too big. I was like, what? Like, what is this thing? Just left the car there. And then Cav gave him after. And I was like, my stinger was 0.01 off. It was too big. And he thought he didn't like, they just giving him warning. Like, that's how it works in Euros at the qualifiers. Like, if you have something, like some small thing off, they will give you a warning, not like disqualified. Then we looked after, and he was disqualified for that qualifier.
Oh
No
boy.
one said anything.
What is a stinger?
The part of the muffler, Max,
It's the
that comes out,
of
that
the
sticks out of the
muffler.
body.
Yeah, the
What?
tip of the muffler.
Yeah, they check the diameter of it, inner
Yeah, they
diameter
check
of it.
that.
I have never ever
Exactly.
seen
I
anyone
thought,
check that.
yeah, I thought that
Is
like
that a
they were thinking
thing?
that they are modified or something, That's why they were checking.
Well,
I think
you
it's
know,
I think it's for sound.
No, but at
No.
Airpro, what they do is they measure the sound.
But only that the pipes have to be fucking what's the word
They
I'm
need
looking
to
for?
be EFRA marked or something.
Exactly.
They have to have.
Oh, in
number
Roar,
marks.
they measure the stinger. They don't have Roar markings.
Yeah.
That's what they
maybe.
do.
And you know what? Their tool wasn't big enough. At least that's what she said. Anyway, that was funny. Hey, Pekko, thank you for joining
Ryan
us.
and his big stinger.
Cavalier and his big stinger. Too big. Hey, this was supposed to be an hour-long podcast, and we was actually supposed to do 2, but it ended up about 3 minutes and 30 minutes, 3 hours and 30 minutes
Not too
with
bad.
breaks in between. So we recorded for about 4 fucking hours.
Hey, big podcast for big stingers.
Hey, let us know what you guys think about the top 25 and everything we said. We hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Pekko, for your time. Thank you all to the NNRC squad. Hey, good luck at the Euros next week as well, Pekko. We'll probably try to get you back on to talk about that. Maybe JQ will come on and have something to talk about. I'm sure he does if something happens.
He
And
will analyze the laps and be like, okay, did you see that? Did you see that? That's what he always does in videos. Did you see that?
also, we can tune into the Euros starting next week. It'll be on RC Racing TV. It's going to be awesome. I always love the Euros, and I look forward to it. Congratulations to Dakota Phend. He's like 40-time national champion through all classes, some 40 plus, 46, something like that.
Hey, only his second Nitro Buggy, right?
No, it's got like 3.
What's the third one?
Fuck if I know. I swear it's got 3.
I'm pretty sure Chico was his first one.
Made him in. I can't remember. I can't remember none of these stats, to be honest. My brain is too full. I need to empty my brain. It's too full. It's overflowing. Hey, the Euros are going to be awesome. Congratulations to Phend. Congratulations to Brandon Rose. I actually want to get Brandon Rose on this podcast. Brandon Rose, check your Facebook messages, okay? And your Instagram messages. I'm messaging you. I want to talk to you. I keep telling her that all the time. We're finally going to get B Rose on. And we look forward to the Euros next year. Congratulations to Thornhill, all their hard work. Congratulations to Raw pulling off a successful event. Congratulations to the fastest pit in the West, Pekko, 2.25. 2.25. Let us know what you think about this, everybody. Big shout out to all of our sponsors. They are J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latara Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Dollar Hobbies, Get Shit Done Coffee, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. Links for all of this in the written description of this podcast. From myself, Max, and Pekko the Parrot, we'll all talk to you later. We're out. Ta-ta for now.